Chapter 638. With Yu Hanxin's explanation, Long Yu and Shu Quan quickly understood the current situation. It was unknown where the Ice God clan beasts came from, but they quickly spread to Ruoshui Commandery and the two surrounding commanderies. At least tens of thousands of martial cultivators died tragically at the hands of the beast. Most of the human martial cultivators saw that the situation was not good and ran away. When the North Snow Empire sent out their army, they cooperated with the army and began to exterminate the Ice God clan beast. Every army of the North Snow Empire had 10,000 martial cultivators, all of whom were above the Divine Secret Realm. They were led by an Emperor Path Secret Realm expert, and their overall combat strength was extremely strong. Exterminating the Ice God clan beasts was like a hot knife through butter, and they quickly swept through more than half of Ruoshui Commandery. If Emperor Tianqin had not taken advantage of the situation and attacked the other two commanderies of the North Snow Empire, Yu Hanxin might have already led the army to exterminate all the invading Ice God clan beasts. Now, the main army of the North Snow Empire had to deal with Emperor Tianqin and could not participate in the extermination of the beasts. That was why these beasts were able to survive until now. "I'll go deal with Emperor Tianqin." Shu Quan's eyes flashed with hatred as she said. "No, let's exterminate the beasts together." Long Yu's eyes flashed as he looked at Shu Quan. There was no hurry to deal with Emperor Tianqin. Moreover, with his and Shu Quan's current strength, participating in the battle would at most cause Emperor Tianqin to suffer a little more losses, and there was a possibility that the other party would focus on killing them. After all, they were the enemies of Emperor Tianqin's son. Emperor Tianqin would definitely be extremely jealous if he saw them. Exterminating the beasts could increase one's strength after entering the Emperor Path Secret Realm. Moreover, there would be no accidents if he followed Yu Hanxin to exterminate the beast. Shu Quan looked at Long Yu and snorted, "If you want to exterminate the beasts, then do it here. I'll even give you the Azura Ancient Palace. To me, Emperor Tianqin is my greatest enemy." "Up to you," Long Yu said lightly. Since Shu Quan wanted to deal with Emperor Tianqin, Long Yu knew that he couldn't stop her. It was already good enough that she was willing to leave the Azura Ancient Palace to Long Yu. Yu Hanxin saw that the two of them had different opinions and did not say anything. She only said, "Right now, Emperor Tianqin's main force is attacking Sky Mist County to the west of Ruoshui County. Duke Ruoshui is also there. Shu Quan, when you go to Sky Mist County, you can look for Duke Ruoshui and have her arrange for you to enter the battlefield. Do not move alone, it's too dangerous." When the two empires fought, it was a war between armies. Not to mention the cultivation of Shu Quan, even the experts of the Emperor Path Mystic Realm could not control the overall situation of the war. Even the Azura Prefecture's Nightmare Legion could kill thousands of Shu Quan, not to mention the Tianqin dynasty's Martial Cultivation Legion, which was definitely more than a level stronger than the Nightmare Legion. "Yes." Shu Quan nodded. She took out the Azura Spirit Boat and flew towards the west. A prefecture was extremely vast. It would take at least a few days to travel from Ruoshui County to Sky Mist County. In order to deal with Emperor Tianqin, Shu Quan was not willing to waste any time. Long Yu watched Shu Quan's departing figure. He had no intention of following her. He knew very well that to him, increasing his strength was the most important thing right now. There was no need for Long Yu to hate Emperor Tianqin. Emperor Tianqin was merely a stepping stone on his path of martial Tao. One day, Long Yu would step on Emperor Tianqin's corpse and step into a higher realm of martial Tao. As for now, it was best for Long Yu to seal the strange beasts in peace. Moreover, this method could not be revealed in front of Yu Hanxin and the others. "Miss Yu, I will act alone. As long as there are no Emperor Realm's strange beasts, I can deal with them with the Azura Ancient Palace," Long Yu said to Yu Hanxin. Then, he got up and flew into the invisible Azura Ancient Palace in the sky. He activated the space formation and directly teleported into the distance. From Yu Hanshin, Long Yu already knew where the Ice God clan's strange beasts had not been exterminated. If he wanted to activate the Azura sealing formation, he would definitely need to find a group of strange beasts that were gathered together. After all, activating the Azura Ancient Palace would consume a lot of energy. Long Yu did not know how to replenish the Azura Ancient Palace's energy at the moment, so he had to use it as efficiently as possible. Soon, the invisible Azura Ancient Palace appeared in a dense forest deep in Ruoshui Commandery. The originally lush green forest was now covered in ice and snow, turning into a sea of snow trees. In this dense forest, there was a large group of Ice God clan's strange beasts. Long Yu directly threw down an Azura sealing formation and began to seal the group of Ice God clan's strange beasts. With so many strange beasts searching all over the mountains and plains, they were most likely searching for the Ice God clan's treasure that the Envoy of Death mentioned. Without a better method, these strange beasts could only search every inch of the area. As long as the Ice God clan's transportation channel to the Shenwu world was not destroyed, there would definitely be an endless stream of strange beasts coming to search. This was definitely a great opportunity for Long Yu. The Shura sealing formation could be used about 10 times. If it could seal 50,000 Ice God clan beasts each time, then there would be a total of 500,000 Ice God clan beasts. At that time, Long Yu could absorb all of them into his inner world and increase his strength. Long Yu headed east. After sealing tens of thousands of Ice God clan strange beasts in an area, he immediately changed locations. During this time, he ran into many Emperor Realm's strange beasts. Unfortunately, even the Emperor Realm's strange beasts could not break through the Azura sealing formation and cause any effective damage to the Azura Ancient Palace. Long Yu sealed all the strange beasts in the Dharch Secret Realm and Deva Secret Realm and immediately used the spatial formation to teleport away, so he did not run into any danger. In just 3 days, Long Yu had already gone to 6 or 7 places. At this time, Long Yu noticed that the number of strange beasts had decreased significantly. He knew that Yu Hanshin and her people must have made great progress in exterminating the strange beasts. Did she find the source of the transportation channel through which the strange beasts came out? Long Yu thought to himself. If he didn't find the source, the number of strange beasts wouldn't decrease so quickly. He just didn't know where Yu Hanshin was right now. Otherwise, he could ask her. However, the number of strange beasts had decreased, so there were not as many of them gathered together. Long Yu's Azura sealing formation could not be used to its full effect. The operation to exterminate the sealed strange beasts was about to come to an end. As for the scattered strange beasts that escaped, he would leave them to Yu Hanshin and the North Snow Dynasty's army. Every strange beast of the Ice God clan had the power of the Ice God glyphs within them, condensed into an ice crystal. Through this ice crystal, a martial cultivator could absorb the power of the Ice God glyphs to replenish themselves. However, these ice crystals couldn't be used to comprehend the power of the Ice God glyph. They could only be used as recovery pills. In this battle, Yu Hanshin and the others had obtained many of these ice crystals. They were all used by the North Snow Dynasty's army as a strategic reserve, allowing martial cultivators to recover extremely quickly in battle. Of course, the prerequisite was that martial cultivators who had comprehended the Ice God glyphs could absorb these ice crystals. Possessing the Azura Divine glyphs is equivalent to reaching the highest level of compatibility with the Azura Ancient Palace, allowing them to use all kinds of methods of the Azura Ancient Palace. Long Yu calmed down and rested in a snowy mountain for a while, thinking about something. The Azura Ancient Palace and the Death Ancient Palace were the strongest weapons of the Azura Envoy and the Death Envoy. It was said that they were imitations of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, and were specially used to restrain strange beasts. However, the ancient Dragon Bone Tower was only a desolate level weapon, while the Azura Ancient Palace and the Death Ancient Palace were ancient level weapons. This made Long Yu a little confused. Logically speaking, the weapons used by the dragons of the 9 underworlds couldn't be weaker than the weapons used by his 4 subordinates, right? Thinking about the severe state of the ancient dragon bone tower, Long Yu could only guess that the ancient dragon bone tower he had now was incomplete. However, if he could further harmonize with the ancient dragon bone tower, that ancient tower should also be able to use invisibility methods. In any case, the ancient dragon bone tower wasn't by his side, and even if Long Yu activated the Azura Ancient Palace's space formation, it would be impossible for him to teleport to a place as far away as the North Snow Dynasty. Although the Azura Ancient Palace had a space formation, the distance it could teleport was related to the cultivation of the person activating it. Long Yu's martial arts realm was too low, so he could only control the Azura Ancient Palace to teleport a short distance. Kid, I've already destroyed the Ice God clan's teleportation channel. They shouldn't be making any moves in the near future, but you have to be careful. Just as Long Yu was pondering, the Death Envoy's voice rang in Long Yu's ears. The Ice God clan and the Jiyo Dragon Emperor have a deep grudge. Not to mention the fact that the Ice God clan's treasure is still sealed in the Jiyo Dragon Emperor's pocket world. Even if you leave this pocket world in the future and head to the outside world, you will still be targeted by the Ice God clan. After all, you are the successor of the Jiyo Dragon Emperor. So it was you who destroyed the source. Only now did Long Yu understand why the Ice God clan's exotic beasts were becoming fewer and fewer. Naturally, I was the one who destroyed their teleportation channel. If it was the martial arts cultivators in this pocket world, they wouldn't be able to find the Ice God clan's teleportation channel at all. The Death Envoy laughed scornfully, but there was a hint of worry in his laughter. Long Yu could hear that the Death Envoy's voice was weak. It seemed that this battle had taken a lot out of him. Kid, hurry up and cultivate. If there's a next time, I won't be able to protect you. After saying this, the Death Envoy disappeared without a trace. It seemed that he had gone to rest. A sense of urgency rose in Long Yu's heart. The Death Envoy was only a remnant of his consciousness. Now that he had erupted to kill the Emperor Realm exotic beasts and destroy their teleportation channel, he had no other choice. If he had a choice, the Death Envoy definitely wouldn't have acted. Chapter 639. The chaos caused by the Ice God clan's exotic beasts was coming to an end. There were still a few scattered exotic beasts left, so there was no need for Long Yu to take action. 3 days have passed. It's about time to go to the neighboring Sky Mist Prefecture and find Shu Chan, Long Yu thought to himself. Unfortunately, the Azura Ancient Palace's energy consumption was severe. He didn't know how to restore it for the time being. If he wanted it to recover naturally, he would have to wait for a year or 2. During this period of time, the Azura Ancient Palace's battle strength couldn't be displayed at all. Long Yu would have to rely on his own strength again. However, this didn't affect him going to Sky Mist Prefecture to find Shu Chan. Even if he relied on his own strength, he wouldn't necessarily die. Before going to Sky Mist Prefecture, Long Yu went to Ruoxue Prefecture and saw the Silver Fox King, who was in the midst of rebuilding. Originally, Long Yu wanted to find Yu Hanxin, but since Yu Hanxin wasn't around, he could only ask her guard, the Silver Fox King. Of course, Long Yu wanted to know about Emperor Cloud. Why didn't this brat dare to make a move on him and Shu Chan? The Silver Fox King was dressed in a white robe. He was a handsome young man with an obvious arrogance between his brows. When Long Yu came to find him, he was commanding his subordinates to rebuild Ruoxue Prefecture. The entire city had been turned into ice sculptures by the Ice God clan's exotic beasts. It would take a lot of effort to rebuild it. Seeing Long Yu come to ask, the Silver Fox King had a look of disdain. Emperor Cloud didn't dare to make a fuss about it because of Lady Yu Hanxin. You should know that Lady Yu Hanxin is an influential figure in the entire Shen Wu world. She has even caught the attention of the leader of the Alliance of 5 Emperors. Rumor has it that one of the 5 emperors wants to take her as a prince. With Lady Yuhanshin speaking up for you, of course Emperor Cloud wouldn't dare to do anything to you. I understand. Hearing this, Long Yu nodded and sighed inwardly. He didn't expect Yuhanshin's identity to be so powerful that even one of the 5 emperors wanted to accept her as a prince. After all, the 5 emperors of the Alliance of 5 Emperors are the strongest in the entire Shen Wu world. Even if their cultivation isn't the highest, their overall strength is the highest. For one of the 5 emperors to want to take Yuhanshin as a prince, it's not hard to imagine that Yuhanshin's talent is one of the best in the entire Shen Wu world. Long Yu pondered for a moment, then said to the Silver Fox King, "Senior Silver Fox King, I have a piece of news to tell you. Prince Cloud originally wanted to recruit me and Princess Shu-chan, but we rejected him and he couldn't leave. They were killed by the Ice God clan that descended from the sky. This news will spread sooner or later, so it's better for Long Yu to tell the Silver Fox King now." Hearing Long Yu's words, the Silver Fox King was stunned. He stood rooted to the ground, as if a million beasts were stampeding through his heart. Prince Cloud is dead? He died in the vicinity of the North Snow Empire and the Tianqin Empire? No, everyone knows that Prince Cloud came to the North Snow Empire to participate in the Icy Lotus Fruit Auction, but he didn't make it back and died in a foreign country. Things have gotten out of hand. The Silver Fox King instantly thought of the consequences of this news, but he quickly calmed down. He thought that only Long Yu and Shu-chan witnessed Prince Cloud's death. As long as Long Yu and Shu-chan don't say anything, how will others know? And if Long Yu and Shu-chan tell others about this, it won't do them any good. In other words, this news will almost never spread. Only the heavens and the earth will know about this. You can't tell anyone else, understand? The Silver Fox King fiercely glared at Long Yu and threatened him. Of course I understand. I'm not a fool. It won't do me any good to say this. Long Yu chuckled and said, "But if the people from the Cloud Empire ask, what will the North Snow Empire say? What can they say? They can only insist that they didn't see it." The Silver Fox King snorted coldly. No matter how angry the Cloud Empire was, they wouldn't do anything to the North Snow Empire. The Silver Fox King had this confidence because Yuhanshin's identity was too special. Even the Cloud Empire wouldn't dare to provoke the experts of the Alliance of 5 Emperors. The difference between the two sides was too big. "Then I'll take my leave." Long Yu bid farewell to the Silver Fox King and turned around to leave for Sky Mist Prefecture. The Silver Fox King looked at Long Yu's departing figure and couldn't help but snort. He lowered his voice and said disdainfully, "A mere 2-das transcendent brat. Wait, the last time I saw him, wasn't he just in the Tribulation Realm?" The Silver Fox King's heart trembled. In less than half a year, this brat had advanced 2 realms in succession. He had even crossed a major realm from the Sky Realm to the Transcendent Realm. Such talent was indeed shocking. Even the Silver Fox King felt ashamed of himself. No wonder Lady Yuhanshin values him so much. If we can win him over to our North Snow Empire, the overall strength of our North Snow Empire will be further enhanced, the Silver Fox King thought to himself. His attitude towards Long Yu finally began to change a little. Long Yu flew towards the west alone. If he wasn't in a hurry, he couldn't be bothered to activate the Azura Ancient Palace's space formation. This was because it would deplete the last 30% of the Azura Ancient Palace's energy. The Azura Ancient Palace flew towards the west. Long Yu was sitting in it. During the journey, Long Yu took the time to comprehend the divine runes, martial skills, and so on. He could also feel the aura of the Nether Void Dragon Blade, speeding up the speed at which he merged with it. 3 days later, he crossed a large river at the border of Ruoshui Prefecture and arrived at the Sky Mist Prefecture in the west. As soon as he arrived at the Sky Mist Prefecture, he could feel a murderous aura coming from the horizon. It made his blood boil. The Tianqin dynasty took advantage of the situation and led their army to attack the North Snow Empire. This was completely out of the North Snow Empire's expectations, because no one thought that the Tianqin Emperor would have the guts to do so. After all, the North Snow Empire's status in the Xinwu world was quite high. Not to mention the Tianqin dynasty, even large empires like the Clouds Empire, Shenluo Empire, and Flawless Empire would have to give the North Snow Empire some face. The reason for this was because of Yu Hanxin's identity. Now everyone knew that Yu Hanxin would most likely be accepted as a disciple by one of the 5 emperors in the next Xinwu Martial Emperor Conference. At that time, Yu Hanxin would be able to step into Martial Emperor realm. Then, the North Snow Empire would become the Northern Snow Empire. Furthermore, it would be a great empire under the protection of one of the 5 emperors. It wouldn't be any weaker than the Clouds Empire. Therefore, the Tianqin Emperor's attack really shocked the people of the North Snow Empire. However, since the Tianqin Emperor had made his move, the North Snow Empire naturally wouldn't just sit and wait for death. Facing the Tianqin Divine Wings Corps that the Tianqin Emperor had sent out, the North Snow Empire immediately sent out 2 great corps to fight back. The Tianqin Divine Wings Corps was one of the 3 great corps of the Tianqin Empire. It had over 100,000 people. In order to join the Tianqin Divine Wings Corps, one had to be at least at the Theurgy realm. Among the 100,000 people, there were over 20 Emperor Path Mystic Realm experts. Emperor Path Mystic Realm martial cultivators were qualified to participate in the Xinwu Martial Emperor Conference. Even though Emperor Path martial cultivators were only small fry in the Xinwu Martial Emperor Conference? Pitiful? Long Ji Su Yu Yizhang Chubian? No emoji? Over 20 Emperor Path Mystic Realm experts led over 100,000 Theurgy Realm martial cultivators. If they wanted to deal with the Azura Prefecture's Nightmare Corps, they wouldn't even need the time it takes for a stick of incense to burn. Fortunately, the North Snow Empire mobilized their troops very quickly. When the Tianqin Divine Wings Corps occupied most of the Sky Mist Prefecture, the North Snow Empire's counterattack had also begun. At this time, Xu Quan joined the counterattack against the Tianqin Emperor's army and became a member of the Freedom Resistance Army. The North Snow Empire's Corps and the Freedom Resistance Army were separate. Because the Corps had a unified command and management, ordinary martial cultivators couldn't act together with the Corps. Thus, the Freedom Resistance Army came into being. Many martial cultivators of the North Snow Empire joined the Freedom Resistance Army and were personally led by the North Snow Empire's generals. They launched a counterattack against the invading Tianqin Divine Wings Corps. There were many martial cultivators in the Sky Mist Prefecture, and they were at least at the same level as the Azura Prefecture. There were 6 or 7 Emperor Path Mystic Realm experts, and there were at least 100 Theurgy Realm experts in the other 7 Theurgy Realm. Together, they were a huge force. Coupled with the large corps sent by the North Snow Empire, they quickly stopped the attack of the Tianqin Divine Wings Corps. However, they were unable to force the Tianqin Divine Wings Corps back. It was equivalent to the Tianqin Emperor taking most of the land in the Mist Prefecture. Of course, the North Snow Empire would not be willing to accept such a result. They were waiting for Yu Hanxin to personally lead another large corps to support them after the Ice God clan's exotic beasts were beaten back. At that time, they would definitely be able to defeat the Tianqin Divine Wings Corps. Long Yu had just entered the Sky Mist Prefecture from the Ruoshui Prefecture when he discovered a series of sneaky martial cultivators advancing along the river. There were 100 of them, and each of them was at least a 7 Theurgy Realm expert. From the way they were dressed, these people seemed to be from the North Snow Empire. However, Long Yu felt that there was something wrong with them. Prince Tianqin. Long Yu looked down and finally found something wrong. This group of 100 people were dressed like the martial cultivators of the North Snow Empire, but they were obviously from the Tianqin Empire. The handsome young man in a white robe at the front looked a little similar to Emperor Tianqin and the Tianqin sixth prince. It was obvious that he was also a Tianqin prince, and Long Yu recognized him. This direction, are they heading to the back of the North Snow Empire's army? What are they trying to do? Long Yu frowned slightly. Fortunately, he was hiding in the Azura Ancient Palace, and the Azura Ancient Palace had completely concealed itself, so these 100 experts did not discover Long Yu. Chapter 640. Long Yu followed closely behind the hundreds of martial arts experts led by Prince Tianqin. He knew that this group of people were the personal guards of Prince Tianqin of the Tianqin dynasty, which was why their overall strength was so strong. There were at least 7 Transcendent Realm martial arts experts. As for the white-robed Prince Tianqin, he was the eldest prince of the Tianqin dynasty, the eldest son of Emperor Tianqin. I killed the 6th prince before, and now the 1st prince. It seems that Emperor Tianqin has quite a few descendants. Long Yu thought to himself as he carefully observed the area below him. The 1st Prince Tianqin had comprehended the divine text of the light attribute. As he led the group forward, he would use his innate mystique every once in a while. A pair of eyes of light would appear in midair, sweeping out in all directions. The divine text of the light would envelop the entire area. This method seemed to be specially used to sweep out invisible things in the surroundings. For example, everyone knew that Long Yu had an invisibility method, so the 1st Prince Tianqin would naturally be on guard against this. Long Yu followed closely behind and heard people discussing that the 1st Prince Tianqin's innate mystique was called the Eye of Heaven. It could see through all illusions and fabrications, and when an invisibility martial artist faced the Eye of Heaven, it was naturally impossible for them to hide. It was a pity that Long Yu was hiding in the ancient Azura Palace and had activated the ancient Azura Palace's invisibility ability. The ancient Azura Palace was an existence that surpassed this world. How could an ancient top-tier battle weapon be so easily seen through by the innate mystique of a mere Emperor Path arcane realm martial artist? Long Yu hid in the ancient Azura Palace and continued to follow behind the 1st Prince Tianqin and the others. Along the way, there were many martial practitioners of the North Snow dynasty. When they saw the 1st Prince Tianqin and his group from afar, they all gave way to them. After all, they were all wearing the military uniform of the North Snow dynasty, so the martial practitioners of the Jianghu thought that they were all from the North Snow dynasty. With so many 7 Transcendent Realm martial artists moving together, they were definitely carrying out some kind of military operation. It was best for the martial practitioners of the Jianghu to not get involved. Little did they know that these fellows were from the Tianqin dynasty. Long Yu did not jump out for the time being, because with his martial arts cultivation, jumping out now would only lead to death. Not to mention anything else. Just the 1st Prince Tianqin alone could kill Long Yu and turn him into ashes. Long Yu wanted to follow them and see what they were up to. Around a day and a night later, the 1st Prince's group finally approached a dense forest. In the forest, Long Yu saw a secret camp in the distance. It seemed to be the camp of the North Snow Empire's army. As they approached the camp, the 1st Prince took out a pitch-black cloaked battle soldier and activated its ability. A hazy gray shadow descended, instantly causing over 100 martial artists to disappear. Are they going to launch a sneak attack? A thought flashed through Long Yu's mind. He did not go far, but instead carefully observed the camp of the North Snow Empire's army. Not long after, the terrifying power of divine characters completely erupted from the camp. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! The shouts of the North Snow Empire's martial artists constantly came from the camp. However, in the face of the well-prepared 1st Prince Tianqin's personal guards, this small secret camp had no effective resistance at all. I am the Deputy General of the Snowdance Corps, Luo Yunsong. May I ask who dares to sneak attack the camp of the Snowdance Corps? A burly man immediately appeared. This person was actually a King's Way secret realm expert. He led the North Snow Empire's martial artists in the camp to launch a resistance. The first Prince of Tianqin did not reply to Deputy General Luo Yunsong. Instead, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile as he said, "Looks like Long Yu's information is indeed accurate. The camp where you store the battle weapons and pills is here. Kill them all, don't leave a single one alive. Then, move all the battle weapons and pills for me. You are the first Prince Tianqin." When the Deputy General Luo Yunsong heard this, he looked at the appearance of the first Prince Tianqin, and his expression suddenly changed. "Did that Long Yu tell you the location of this camp? What the hell? You still want to secretly call for support? Don't even think about it." The Tianqin eldest prince laughed and waved his hand. Outside the camp, the miserable cries of the North Snow Empire's martial cultivators rang out incessantly. From the looks of it, the Tianqin eldest prince's men had killed all the martial cultivators who wanted to escape. The first Prince Tianqin personally dealt with the Deputy General Luo Yunsong. The power of the divine characters of light spread wildly. Within the range of the battle, no other martial artists could get close. Once they did, they would probably be killed by the aftermath of the battle between the two. Long Yu observed all this from afar, and his eyes flashed with a shrewd look. "First Prince Tianqin actually said my name. Could it be that he's trying to frame me?" Long Yu kept thinking, for the Tianqin Empire, launching a war against the North Snow Empire now won't bring them any benefit. Even if they take advantage of the invasion of the Ice God clan's exotic beasts and get something temporarily, they will still spit it out in the end. In this case, the Tianqin Emperor obviously has ulterior motives. From what the first Prince Tianqin said, is the Tianqin Emperor trying to frame me? No, not only to frame Long Yu, but also to frame Shu Quan and the other martial artists who had escaped from the Tianqin Empire. It was impossible for Long Yu and the others to live in the Tianqin Empire. If the Tianqin Emperor used other means to make Long Yu and the others bear the name of the North Snow Empire's spies, then they would not be able to live in the North Snow Empire. To launch a war just to deal with us, the Tianqin Emperor is really willing to do so. However, his son died in the Azura Ancient Palace, so it's reasonable for him to hate us. Long Yu kept thinking and observing the hidden camp of the North Snow Empire's Snowdance Corps below. He found that the Deputy General Luo Yunsong was no match for the first Prince Tianqin at all. It didn't take long for him to be completely suppressed by the first Prince Tianqin. This made Long Yu temporarily suppress his intention to attack. The Snowdance Corps was the large corps sent by the North Snow Empire to fight against the Tianqin Holy Wing Corps this time. The corps leader, Yu Xuewu, was a female general and a martial arts expert who had long entered the secret realm of the King's Path. Now the secret camp guarded by Luo Yunsong was the logistics of the Snowdance Corps. There were countless soldiers and elixirs stored, which were provided to more than 100,000 martial artists in the Snowdance Corps. Now, the first Prince Tianqin could find the location of this hidden camp, which showed that he was extremely well informed. Maybe there is a mole, Long Yu thought. The first Prince Tianqin said that he heard the news from Long Yu, and this news made Luo Yunsong, the Deputy General, and all the martial artists of the Snowdance Corps in the entire camp hate Long Yu. But of course, Long Yu knew that this news was definitely not leaked by him. Even he didn't know that there was a secret camp of the Snowdance Corps here. This made it easy for Long Yu to think that there was a mole in the Snowdance Corps. Long Yu didn't jump out to deal with the first Prince Tianqin, because with his current martial arts realm, he was no match for the first Prince Tianqin. Not long after, in the secret camp of the entire Snowdance Corps, thousands of martial arts practitioners guarding were all killed by the first Prince of Tianqin and the others. They only deliberately left some alive by mistake and did not pay attention to them. Obviously, they wanted to use the mouths of these surviving martial artists to spread the news that Long Yu had betrayed the Snowdance Corps. Let's go. The first Prince Tianqin waved his hand with a confident smile on his handsome face. He led the crowd out of the secret camp. Before leaving, of course, he took away all the soldiers and elixirs in the camp. The total value was definitely not less than 1,000 divine coins. For the Snowdance Corps, 1,000 divine coins was not a small amount. After all, when the Snowdance Corps went out, its daily consumption was no more than 100 divine coins. In contrast, Long Yu had found 100,000 divine coins from Prince Yunduan, which could be said to be as rich as a country. The first Prince Tianqin left elegantly, not knowing that Long Yu had recorded all of this with the inscription of the True Spirit, and Long Yu's inscription of the True Spirit was still going on. If I continue to follow you, I must find clues and evidence of the mole. Otherwise, Shu Chan and I will be in trouble. Long Yu made a decision in his heart. Ignoring the destroyed secret camp of the Snowdance Corps, he continued to follow the first Prince Tianqin. Since the first Prince Tianqin had learned about the secret camp, he must have a connection with the Snowdance Corps. After thinking about it, Long Yu felt that he could only find clues if he continued to follow them. Just as Long Yu followed the first Prince Tianqin and tried to find out the mole of the Snowdance Corps on the front line, on the battlefield between the Snowdance Corps and the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps, Shu Chan had joined the Freedom Corps of the martial cultivators of Jianghu and was fighting with the flank of the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps. The Azura Divine characters were constantly released. Every time the Azura's absolute light was used, it could kill at least one martial cultivator of the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps. It could be said to be a great killing weapon in the Freedom Corps. Most of the other martial cultivators of Jianghu were at a disadvantage when facing the people of the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps. All their attacks would be blocked. Only Shu Chan's Azura's absolute light could kill the martial cultivators of the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps with one move, making the defensive means of those martial cultivators useless. All the martial cultivators of Jianghu now knew the name of Shu Chan. They knew that Shu Chan came from a prefecture in the Tianqin dynasty. That prefecture was completely occupied by the Tianqin dynasty, and even the prefecture king was killed by the Tianqin emperor. The martial cultivators of Jianghu in the North Snow dynasty despised Tianqin emperor's method of attacking the prefecture in his own dynasty. Looking at the young princess Shu Chan, whose eyes were red from killing, many martial cultivators of Jianghu felt a trace of affection from the bottom of their hearts. Coupled with her delicate and lovely appearance and voice, it made people feel even more sympathy for her. Kill! The emotions of the martial cultivators of Jianghu were all infected by Shu Chan's actions, which made the combat effectiveness of the Freedom Corps of the North Snow dynasty increase by a lot. However, at this time, a group of members of the law enforcement group of the Snowdance Corps descended from the sky. Under the leadership of the head of the law enforcement group of the King's Path Secret Realm, they directly rushed toward Shu Chan. As a member of the Freedom Corps, Shu Chan secretly colluded with the people of the Tianqin dynasty and leaked military information. Under the orders of the head of the army, we are here to arrest Shu Chan. The cold voice of the head of the law enforcement group of the King's Path Secret Realm came, and these words stunned all the martial cultivators of Jianghu in the Freedom Corps. Shu Chan colluded with the Tianqin dynasty. Chapter 641. There were thousands of Jianghu martial practitioners of the North Snow dynasty who had participated in the fight against the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps. All of them already knew about the hatred between Shu Chan and Emperor Tianqin and understood that Shu Chan and Emperor Tianqin were absolutely irreconcilable. Now the law enforcement group of the Snowdance Corps had come to arrest Shu Chan and accused her of colluding with the people of the Tianqin dynasty to leak military information. This undoubtedly puzzled all the martial practitioners of the Jianghu. Even if this kind of thing happened to anyone, it would not happen to Shu Chan. Head of the law enforcement group, are you mistaken? The head of the Freedom Corps, composed of martial practitioners of the Jianghu, was a decadent young man in the Seven Paths of Divinity realm. At this moment, his eyes suddenly lit up. He stood in front of Shu Chan, looked at the head of the law enforcement group, and said, "Miss Shu Chan has an irreconcilable hatred with Emperor Tianqin. How could she be a spy sent by the Tianqin dynasty?" The head of the law enforcement group was a middle-aged man in the King Path secret realm. He did not take the decadent young man, who was the head of the Freedom Corps, seriously at all. The middle-aged head of the law enforcement group glanced at the decadent young man contemptuously and said disdainfully, "This order was issued by the head of the Snowdance Corps. If you have any objections, go directly to the head of the army. However, if you stop the law enforcement group from enforcing the law again, I can order you to be arrested as well." Jiang Yixing, thank you for interceding for me, but there must be some misunderstanding in this matter. I think it will be cleared up soon. You can step back. Shu Chan looked at the decadent young man, Jiang Yixing, who spoke for her. She was slightly moved, but she still insisted on letting him step back. Shu Chan was also puzzled that she had become a spy from the Tianqin dynasty. However, in the face of such a huge force like the Snowdance Corps, she and the martial practitioners of the Jianghu of the Freedom Corps could not resist. Since they wanted to arrest her, she would let them arrest her first. She only wanted a clear conscience. The decadent young man, Jiang Yixing, was a little hesitant. He glared fiercely at the head of the law enforcement group and then retreated. "Miss Shu Chan, if you suffer any grievances, I, Jiang Yixing, will definitely lead the Freedom Corps into the Snowdance Corps." The Freedom Corps was made up of unrestrained martial practitioners of the Jianghu. Because the Tianqin dynasty had invaded the Tianqin dynasty, they were formed freely to fight against the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps. As the head of the Freedom Corps, Jiang Yixing was the most prestigious among so many martial practitioners of the Jianghu. He said that he would enter the Snowdance Corps into the Snowdance Corps. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of the head of the law enforcement squad. "So, First Star General, are you in cahoots with Shu Chan? This is RRR of with the Snowdance Corps. I'm only warning you not to disrespect Lady Shu Chan." Although Jiang Yixing looked like a dispirited youth, he wasn't the least bit careless when it came to negotiations. A glint flashed across his eyes. "Although our Freedom Corps isn't a colossus, we still need to face the Tianqin Divine Wings Corps head-on." His words were obviously a threat. If the Freedom Corps retreated now, the Snowdance Corps would fight with the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps, and the losses would definitely increase a lot. This was not what the head of the Snowdance Corps wanted to see. As the head of the law enforcement group, the middle-aged martial practitioner did not dare to say anything. "Humph, the head of the army rewards and punishes clearly. If the rumors are wrong, then we will naturally not do anything to this little girl." The head of the law enforcement group snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, he turned and left with many martial practitioners of the law enforcement group. Seeing this scene happening in front of them, many martial practitioners of the Jianghu in the Freedom Corps were filled with righteous indignation. For these martial practitioners of the Jianghu, Shu Chan was a naughty and lovely little girl. Now she was taken away by the law enforcement group, which undoubtedly made them extremely angry. However, even Jiang Yixing had compromised, so the others could not say anything. "Kill the enemy." Jiang Yixing took one last look at the back of Shu Chan being taken away, then turned sideways. With a wave of his hand, he continued to let the martial practitioners of the Jianghu of the Freedom Corps fight. The battle between the martial practitioners was not a continuous battle, but one after another, divided according to the teams. After a team released their innate magical powers, they would retreat when they needed a rest, and the other teams would take their place. The martial practitioners who were good at offense and defense were responsible for offense and defense respectively. They took turns to fight. In this way, the full power of an army could be exerted and the ability to fight continuously. The battle on the front line was still fierce. Thousands of martial practitioners died in the fierce collision of divine characters and magical powers. Now, Long Yu followed Tianqin First Prince all the way back to a dense forest near the border of the North Snow Dynasty. After arriving in this dense forest, there was a martial practitioner of the 7 realms of magical power realm. His whereabouts were somewhat strange. He left the main force and headed toward a desolate place in the dense forest. This piqued Long Yu's interest. There's definitely something fishy about this person. Long Yu's heart moved. After thinking for a moment, he condensed a primordial afterimage and flew after the figure that had left the main force. He hid in the Azura ancient palace, so he was not afraid of being discovered by Tianqin First Prince's Eye of Heaven. The primordial afterimage he condensed could also use divine concealment methods, so it would be very difficult for the 7 divine ability realm martial practitioners to discover him. In this way, with 2 groups of surveillance, Long Yu felt that he was one step closer to seeing through the traitor of the North Snow Dynasty. Tianqin First Prince and the main force continued to head in the direction of the Tianqin Dynasty at their fastest speed. It seemed that they felt that staying here was dangerous and did not want to stay for long. As for the 7 divine ability realm martial practitioners that had left the main force, they sneakily ran into a valley. Long Yu's primordial afterimage used divine concealment methods to follow them all the way, and soon came to this valley. Sure enough, he found a middle-aged bearded man wearing the armor of a North Snow Dynasty general waiting for Tianqin First Prince's subordinates in this valley. The 2 of them met secretly in this deserted valley. Logically speaking, no one would be able to discover them. However, they did not expect that Long Yu would follow Tianqin First Prince all the way. Long Yu recorded all the situation from the beginning to the present with the real spirit inscription, which could perfectly reproduce the scene he had seen. Including the process of Tianqin First Prince's subordinates sneakily meeting with the North Snow Dynasty general, Long Yu had also completely recorded it. After the secret meeting, the 2 people did not say anything. They just quietly exchanged jade slips, and then left separately. I must get those 2 jade slips. Long Yu's heart moved, and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. As long as he got those 2 jade slips, he could definitely expose the identity of the North Snow Dynasty's Snowdance Corps as a spy, and he could use it as evidence. However, the North Snow Dynasty general was the same as Tianqin Emperor's subordinates. They were all martial arts experts in the 7 divine abilities realm. If Long Yu wanted to make a move, it would be extremely dangerous. If I don't make a move now, I won't have any foothold in the North Snow Dynasty when their scheme succeeds. Even the Heavenly Mandate Manor and Azura Mansion in the North Snow Imperial City will be wiped out in one fell swoop. Long Yu's eyes flashed with determination. He thought of the people who were still in the Heavenly Mandate Manor and knew that he could only fight to save them now. Otherwise, even if he ran away now, it would be useless. Moreover, if Long Yu ran away, wouldn't he be admitting his identity as a spy? In this way, Tianqin Dynasty's trick would succeed. Naturally, Long Yu could not do that. So what if I'm in the 7 divine abilities realm? With my current strength, I can face a cultivator in the 5 divine abilities realm head-on. Even if it's a guy in the 7 divine abilities realm, if I use a thunderous attack, I may be able to kill him. Long Yu thought to himself and quietly changed the position of his real body and the desolate ancient shadow. One of the desolate ancient shadows stayed in the Azura ancient palace, while his real body came to the valley where the 2 met secretly. He hid his body and quietly followed the subordinate of Tianqin Crown Prince. Desolate ancient shadow, follow the North Snow Dynasty general. Long Yu divided into 3 groups. 1 desolate ancient shadow stayed in the Azura ancient palace, and another desolate ancient shadow was responsible for following the North Snow Dynasty general. and his real body was preparing to sneak attack the subordinate of Tianqin Crown Prince, who was in the Seven Divine Abilities realm. Seven Divine Abilities realm was equivalent to peerless experts like Hui Yuanbai and Mo Zhaitian. They were only a step away from stepping into the Imperial Path Secret Realm and having the qualifications to participate in the Divine Martial Imperial Assembly. One could imagine that there weren't many martial cultivators like this in the Tianqin dynasty. Because they were the personal guard of the Tianqin First Prince, every one of them was an expert at the Seven Divine Realms. Every single one of them was an expert who could hold their own in a prefectural government, and could even become the commander of the Nightmare Legion. They were powerful characters like that. Long Yu's goal was to sneak attack the subordinate of Tianqin Crown Prince, who was in the Seven Divine Abilities realm. Along the way, Long Yu already had a good understanding of the combat strength of the personal guard of Tianqin Crown Prince, especially the martial cultivator who had secretly come out to meet with the North Snow Dynasty general. Long Yu also had a good understanding of the power of the divine characters and the innate divine abilities that the martial cultivator had comprehended. This person's defense is strong, but his attack is weak. He is extremely fast, so he was sent out to play the role of scout and liaison. A sharp light flashed in Long Yu's eyes as he began to analyze the opponent's combat strength. Because this person's speed was very fast, he had to kill him in a single strike. Otherwise, he would be able to escape. If he escaped, then Long Yu would definitely not be able to catch up. There was the first prince of Tianqin and a large group of martial arts experts in front of him. Furthermore, this person's attacks were on the weaker side. Long Yu decided to rely on the superior grade archaic martial technique that he cultivated, the Death Realm body tempering technique, to take it head-on. Only by sacrificing the time to defend could Long Yu unleash his sharpest attacks. I'll use the Hand of the Nine Underworlds and the Soul Seal Rainbow to weaken him, then I'll use the last explosion of the Nine Underworlds explosion, the Nine Underworlds Heavenly Light, and the Soul Explosion of the Void Underworld Dragon Blade to try and kill this person. I can also condense an Ancient Shadow, which will guard outside the range of the Nine Underworlds Heavenly Light. Once that person escapes, I'll use the Blood Sacrifice Shadow Kill as the last attack. Chapter 642. Faced with the sinister scheme of the Tianqin Empire, Long Yu could not escape. He could only face it head-on. Currently, the best method Long Yu could think of was to assassinate the Seven Divinity Realm cultivator who possessed the Jade Slip of the North Snow Empire's spy. As long as he obtained evidence, not only would Long Yu and Shu Quan be able to escape the accusation of being spies, they would also be able to capture the culprit and expose the spy behind the scenes. Kill! Having made his decision, Long Yu immediately took action. He could not wait for too long, because the Seven Divinity Realm cultivator's subordinates moved extremely quickly. It would not be long before they met up with the Tianqin Crown Prince and the others. At that time, it would be too late to make a move. When Long Yu began to move, the Seven Divinity Realm cultivator almost immediately sensed that something was wrong. Long Yu was not the only one who could sense the killing intent directed at him. When Long Yu displayed a sufficiently strong killing intent, it also attracted the attention of the Seven Divinity Realm cultivator. However, Long Yu paid no heed to it. He immediately unleashed the Nine Underworlds' heavenly light. His entire body melded into a thick, pitch-black fog, transforming into a dark cloud that rapidly descended from the sky. In the blink of an eye, the Seven Divine Ability Realm experts were trapped within it. The Nine Underworld heavenly light arrived, and the boundless power of the Nine Underworld divine characters began to corrode the Seven Divinity Realm cultivator. However, Long Yu's martial realm was too low, and the corrosion of the power of the Nine Underworld divine characters had almost no effect on him. Who goes there? The Seven Divinity Realm cultivator roared, and the divine characters of Gale covered his body, blocking out the power of the Nine Underworld divine characters. In reality, the moment he sensed the aura of the 9 underworld divine characters, he knew that Long Yu had appeared. He had shouted in order to attract as much of Long Yu's attention as possible, and also to try and call for reinforcements from the Tianqin Crown Prince. It was a pity that the 9 underworld heavenly light isolated everything. It could even completely block out light, let alone sound. In the dense forest, a dense black fog completely enveloped the surroundings. Not a single trace of light or sound could be heard. Long Yu took the opportunity to launch a real attack. Divine Ability, Hand of 9 Underworld. Divine Ability, Soul Seal Absorption. The hand of the 9 underworlds quietly appeared, bringing with it the intense power of the 9 underworld's divine characters, wanting to corrode the bodies of the 7 divine ability realm experts, corroding their meridians and dantian. Gale Barrier. The 7 divine tier powerhouses did not panic. They raised their hands and condensed a barrier made of divine runes of Gale in an attempt to resist the attack of the hand of the 9 gloom. However, things did not develop as they wished. When the wind barrier appeared, a pitch-black dagger silently appeared and pierced through it. Even the defensive measures of the 7 divine ability realm experts could not withstand the piercing of the void nether dragon dagger, an ancient supreme tier combat weapon. Then, the awe-inspiring hand of the 9 underworlds pierced through the gaps and instantly invaded the bodies of the 7 divine tier elite. The tyrannical power of the 9 underworld's divine text began to corrode and weaken their combat ability. Get out of my way! One of the 7 divine ability realm elites was a middle-aged man. He had never met such a troublesome opponent ever since he had stepped onto the path of martial arts. His martial realm was clearly 5 levels lower than his, but he just couldn't muster any strength. Firstly, he did not know which corner of the 9 underworld heavenly light Long Yu was hiding in, and secondly, Long Yu's attack methods were so strange that it was extremely difficult for him to deal with them. He could only use the power of the Gale Barrier to continuously remove the power of the 9 underworld divine characters from his body. However, the next moment, the power of the rainbow divine characters descended from the sky and instantly enveloped his entire body. Soul Seal Absorption. The power of the rainbow runes descended and began to absorb the soul imprints of the 7 transcendent realm powerhouses. The soul imprints were the foundation of a martial cultivator on the path of martial Tao. Naturally, the other party would not allow the siphon god runes to absorb them. The 7 divine ability realm experts immediately unleashed most of their power to resist the corrosion of the rainbow god-absorbing runes. However, a portion of their soul imprints was still absorbed by the innate divine ability, which was then absorbed into the nether void dragon blade. As a result, more than half of the 7 divinity realm cultivator's power was used to resist Long Yu's 2 innate magic powers, and this was exactly what Long Yu had expected before he launched the assassination. Here's my chance. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes, and then he hid in the 9 underworld heavenly light and punched out. The final explosion of the Nether Dragon 9 explosions, the Nether Underworld explosion, swept out with an irresistible momentum. The Nether Underworld explosion hidden in the 9 underworld heavenly light contained the souls of countless people Long Yu had killed since he had stepped onto the path of martial arts, and together, they formed a Nether Underworld world. With a dragon's roar, the thousands of evil spirits and souls in the Netherworld world exploded at the same time, and the boundless destructive force directly shattered the Gale Barrier of the 7 transcendent realm powerhouses. This was the ultimate form of the Nether Dragon 9 explosions, a great desolate level martial skill that had been comprehended to perfection. It condensed all the evil thoughts and souls of the people that Long Yu had killed since he stepped onto the path of martial arts into a Netherworld world, and then detonated it with the 9 Nether Dragon roar. The more people Long Yu killed, the more powerful this move became. If Long Yu had personally killed a King Path Secret Realm expert, then even with his current martial arts realm, he would be able to injure a King Path Secret Realm expert with Heaven Underworld explosion. To put it simply, the more people or living beings Long Yu killed, the more powerful it became. This was the second time Long Yu had used this move after comprehending the Nether Dragon's 9 explosions. The first time was when he fought against Bai Qing, when he fought against Tai Sun, who had 3 Transcendent Realm experts. To the current Long Yu, Tai Sun was nothing. But now, Long Yu was facing 7 Transcendent Realm pinnacle powerhouses, who were only one step away from stepping into the King Path secret realm. The Nether Underworld explosion was extremely powerful, but it would consume 80% of Long Yu's strength. After using it, his remaining combat strength would be very weak. Countless evil spirits and souls in the Nether Heaven Yellow Springs were detonated by the dragon roar of the 9 underworlds, exploding amidst the black mist of the 9 underworlds' heavenly light. The violent turbulence of the divine characters of the 9 underworlds rushed toward the 7 divine power experts. Gale. The 7 transcendent realm powerhouses' expressions changed. They raised their hands and tried to gather the power of the divine runes in their bodies to use some kind of innate divine ability to escape. It wasn't that he didn't have the confidence to resist Long Yu's Nether Underworld explosion, but he was afraid that this wasn't Long Yu's strongest move. After all, the various deeds of Long Yu had been spread far and wide. Just the fact that he controlled the Azura Sacred Tree and killed several King Path secret realm powerhouses in Shura Prefecture was enough to shock this person. If this person knew that the Azura Sacred Tree on Long Yu's body had already fallen into a deep sleep, he probably wouldn't have chosen to escape in such a hurry. And it was precisely this person who had hurriedly executed his movement martial skill, forcibly rushing out of the 9 underworld heavenly light, completely ignoring his own defense. Long Yu's desolate antiquity shadow wielded the Nether Void Dragon Blade and directly rushed over, unleashing a soul explosion at this person. Within the Nether Dragon Blade, Long Yu had already secretly absorbed the soul seals of 8 martial cultivators. These 8 soul seals came from the genius martial cultivators of the first prince of Tianqin's personal guard, which made the power of Long Yu's soul explosion even more terrifying. It didn't lose to the Nether Underworld explosion at all. Behind him was the Nether Underworld explosion, and in front was the Nether Dragon Blade's soul explosion. These 2 extremely powerful martial skills sandwiched the 7 transcendent realm powerhouses in the middle, causing his expression to change drastically. Gale protection. Only now did this person realize that he couldn't escape. He could only use his defensive innate divine ability as quickly as possible in an attempt to defend against the 2 terrifying martial skills. At the end of the day, the 7 transcendent realm powerhouses weren't weak. Even if they were weakened by the hand of 9 Underworld and the Soul Seal Siphon, they still wouldn't be killed so easily by Long Yu. This person used the various innate divine abilities derived from the Gale Divine Runes, and with his movement martial skill, he cleverly avoided the full power of the soul explosion. He only used 2 defensive innate divine abilities to resist the full power of the Nether Underworld explosion. Blood Sacrifice Shadow Kill. Long Yu activated the primordial afterimage and immediately executed the Blood Sacrifice Shadow Kill. A small reddish-black figure darted out and sped towards the 7 divine ability realm experts with chilling killing intent. Naive. The 7 middle-aged transcendent realm martial cultivators harumphed coldly. Seeing that Long Yu still hadn't released the Azura Sacred Tree, he could roughly guess the situation, which allowed him to gradually calm down. With a wave of his hand, a barrier formed from Gale Divine Runes appeared once again, easily shredding the red-black figure into pieces. However, in the next moment, the expressions of the 7 transcendent realm martial cultivators changed drastically. He sensed an extremely sharp combat weapon sneaking out from the 9 underworld heavenly ray behind him, stabbing into his back while he was dealing with the attack in front of him. The ancient supreme-tier combat weapon, the Void Nether Dragon Blade, was held in Long Yu's hand. With the technique of divine concealment, the Void Nether Dragon Blade pierced into his opponent's body. Just before the 7 Transcendent Realm martial cultivator's heart meridians were shattered, he gathered the power of all the Gale Divine runes at his fastest speed and attacked Long Yu behind him. If that's the case, let's perish together. The 7 Transcendent Realm martial cultivators seemed to have gone mad. They knew that they couldn't stop Long Yu from shattering their heart meridians, but if they gathered all their power to attack Long Yu, there was no way that Long Yu could stop them. The elemental Gale Divine runes engulfed Long Yu in the next moment. The terrifying destructive force destroyed his flesh and sent him flying, while the endless power of the Gale Divine runes seeped into his body. Long Yu clenched his teeth and gathered the power of the 9 Underworld Divine runes to stop the Gale Divine runes from corroding his body. He couldn't leave the last attack to the primordial shadow. Only by wielding the Void Nether Dragonblade would he be able to unleash the strongest power of the ancient combat weapon and kill his opponent with a single blow. As for the counterattack before death, Long Yu had already expected it. Death Realm Body Refinement. Chapter 643. The reason why Long Yu dared to face his opponent's dying counterattack head-on was because he had cultivated the small success realm death physique tempering technique. This was an Archean high-rank martial skill, a terrifying martial skill that completely surpassed the divine battle world. Even though he had only cultivated it to the small success realm, Long Yu's physical body's ability to withstand attacks had become extremely strong. Not to mention, before Long Yu's final attack, he had taken a powerful pill from Prince Cloud. It was a grand desolate grade pill. After taking it, a barrier of divine characters would form on the surface of his body, covering his entire body. The effect of this pill was also determined by the user's martial realm. With Long Yu's second path Transcendent Realm cultivation, the divine character's barrier formed after taking it could at least block a full-force attack from 5 Transcendent Realm cultivators. At this very moment, although Long Yu was facing a 7 Daos Transcendent Realm powerhouse, his opponent had died before he could fully unleash his final attack. Therefore, it could not be considered a full-powered attack from a 7 Daos Transcendent Realm powerhouse. Just the divine character's barrier formed by the pill had blocked nearly half of the opponent's dying counterattack. The remaining power completely invaded Long Yu's body and began to wreak havoc. The small success realm death physique tempering technique allowed Long Yu to forcefully block his opponent's attack. Even though his meridians were continuously being destroyed, his vital parts were unharmed. It wasn't until the destructive power of the Storm Divine characters was completely suppressed by the 9 Nether Divine characters that Long Yu could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Self-healing Divine characters. Long Yu circulated the self-healing Divine characters in his body to recover. At the same time, he swallowed a grand desolate grade healing pill. All the wounds on his body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few moments, the wounds on Long Yu's arms and legs that were cut by the Storm Divine characters were completely healed. Even his damaged meridians were completely healed. Let's go. Without any hesitation, Long Yu put the 7 Transcendent Realm cultivators' corpses into the Void Nether Dragonblade's storage space. Then, he swapped places with the ancient desolate shadow and returned to the Azura ancient palace. There is indeed a jade scroll. Long Yu first observed the first prince's personal guard corps and discovered that none of them had noticed that the person they had sent out had died. Afterwards, he searched the corpses of the 7 divinity realm experts. Indeed, he found a jade slip in their chest. It was the jade slip he had exchanged with the North Snow Empire general earlier. Break. Long Yu used a method to destroy the soul imprint in the jade slip. Then, he observed the contents of the jade slip. It didn't take long for him to learn the whole story. It was recorded in the jade slip that the matter had been completed. Shu Chan had been captured and would be executed in 3 days. It was hoped that the first prince of Tianqin would fulfill his promise and place 1,000 Shinbi at the agreed location. I didn't expect Shu Chan to be captured. It seems that the North Snow Empire's Snowdance Corps is just SOSO. The first prince of Tianqin just used a small trick to deceive the Snowdance Corps and let them capture Shu-chan. A bright light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. Fortunately, I had this operation. Although I was seriously injured and lost 2 superior desolate-grade elixirs, worth at least 2,000 shinbi, the elixirs that Long Yu had taken in the battle to create the divine character barrier and the healing elixirs after his injuries were both superior desolate-grade elixirs. They were considered top-notch elixirs for Prince Yunduan. They were extremely valuable. Ordinary martial cultivators couldn't afford to consume them. Even Prince Yunduan himself wouldn't be willing to consume them casually. However, Long Yu was facing a life-and-death crisis. It was useless to keep these elixirs. Of course, he took them directly. If other martial cultivators found out about this, they would probably scold him for being a prodigal. However, Long Yu knew that if he did not have these 2 pills, he would not be able to withstand the final counterattack of the 7 Divine Power Realm expert. Even if he managed to withstand it, he would definitely faint, and be captured by the first prince of Tianqin's personal guard corps, who would notice that something was wrong. According to the contents of the Jade Slip, Su Tiangao, the deputy general of the Snowdance Corps, betrayed the North Snow Empire for 1,000 shinbi. It was conceivable how valuable the 2 elixirs that Long Yu consumed in this battle were. I'm afraid that Deputy General Su Tiangao didn't do it for money. Maybe this guy had a lot of friction with Luo Yunsang, the Deputy General of the Snowdance Corps, who was killed before Long Yu thought of the secret camp of the Snowdance Corps, which had been attacked by the first prince of Tianqin's team. Among them was Luo Yunsang, the Deputy General of the Snowdance Corps, who was an expert in the secret realm of the King's Path. Unfortunately, he was killed by the first prince of Tianqin. For the traitor, Su Tiangao, this should be something that he would like to see. For Long Yu, the Snowdance Corps and the traitor had nothing to do with him at all. If he hadn't been provoked, he wouldn't have bothered to pay attention to this kind of thing. But now it was different. The traitor, Su Tiangao, cooperated with the first prince of Tianqin and revealed the location of the secret camp where Luo Yunsang, the deputy general, was, but claimed that he, Shu-chan, and the others had revealed it. If Long Yu didn't deal with such a person, how could he be willing to give up? I'll go to the camp of the Snowdance Corps with this evidence. Long Yu's eyes flickered. One of his ancient shadows was still following the traitor, Deputy General Su Tiangao, and flying toward the main camp of the Snowdance Corps. Long Yu had to go to the camp of the Snowdance Corps before this person, so that his words would be more credible. Space formation. Open. As soon as Long Yu thought of this, he activated the space formation in the Azura Ancient Palace as quickly as possible. The main camp of the Snowdance Corps was thousands of miles away from here. If he didn't use the space formation, it would take at least half a day to get there. Long Yu wanted to expose the traitor, Deputy General Su Tiangao, in front of the entire Snowdance Corps. The main camp of the Snowdance Corps. The commander, Yu Xuewu, was a middle-aged woman in a snow-white military uniform. She looked valiant and formidable. At this time, she was standing in the center of the main camp, looking at a person in front of her with a frosty face. In front of her was Shu-chan, who had been arrested by the head of the law enforcement group. Shu-chan was imprisoned in a crystal cage and treated as a criminal. At this time, Shu-chan's face was full of stubbornness. Obviously, she would not admit that she was a traitor. I still say the same thing. Emperor Tianqin killed my father. I can't be a spy sent by him, Shu-chan said in a cold voice. Although she had explained countless times, the people of the Snowdance Corps did not believe her at all, because the martial practitioners who had escaped from the secret camp of Deputy General Luo Yunsang, who had been destroyed, said that it was Long Yu and Shu-chan who had leaked the location of the secret camp. Yu Xuewu, the commander of the Snowdance Corps, had to arrest Shu-chan first and search for Long Yu everywhere before she found other evidence. This is the last chance I'm giving you. Since you refuse to tell me where Long Yu is, you will die at this time tomorrow. Yu Shuwu said lightly, Tianzong Haowei, take her away and behead her at noon tomorrow. Yes, General. The middle-aged man standing next to Yu Shuwu, Tianzong Haowei, was the head of the law enforcement group. With a disdainful smile on his face, he glanced at Shu Chan, then raised his hand and asked his subordinates behind him to lift the crystal cage in which Shu Chan was imprisoned, and then took her away. Yes, Commander Tianzong. 2 martial practitioners of the law enforcement group got the order and immediately took Shu Chan away. General, I will leave first. I can try to force out the whereabouts of Long Yu. Tianzong Haowei said respectfully to Yu Shuwu. You can try, but remember, Shu Chan will be beheaded in public at noon tomorrow to comfort the souls of Deputy General Luo Yunsong and other sergeants in heaven. Yu Shuwu waved her hand casually and said, with a headache on her face. The secret camp, guarded by Deputy General Luo Yunsong, had been destroyed by the first prince of Tianqin. This was undoubtedly a great blow to the Snowdance Corps. It should be known that the secret camp was full of the Snowdance Corps' reserves of soldiers and elixirs. Now, without the reserves of soldiers and elixirs, it would be extremely difficult to fight against the Tianqin Holy Wing Corps. Yu Shuwu was extremely angry about the culprits who had caused all this, Long Yu and Shu Chan. Although she didn't know why Her Excellency Yu Hanxin had taken in these refugees from the Tianqin dynasty, now that these people were spies sent by the Tianqin dynasty, Yu Shuwu decided that after driving away the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps, she must arrest all the refugees of the Tianqin dynasty. What she didn't know was that after Tianzong Haowei, the commander of the law enforcement group whom she trusted, took Shu Chan away, he followed 2 of his subordinates to the rear camp, ready to deal with Shu Chan. I must kill this woman, then find the whereabouts of Long Yu and kill him directly. Tianzong Haowei's eyes flashed with killing intent. This middle-aged man obviously had something to do with the whole matter. Shu Chan was alone, imprisoned in a crystal cage. This crystal cage was made of a special material. Martial cultivators who were imprisoned in this cage would be completely unable to use the power of divine runes. To martial cultivators, this was equivalent to being a cripple. Shu Chan looked around and found that she had been taken to an extremely remote tent. This tent belonged to the law enforcement group. In the vicinity, no one could come here unless they had an order from the law enforcement group. Shu Chan was locked in a tent. Then, the 2 martial practitioners who had escorted her stood guard at the entrance of the tent. Tianzong Haowei, the commander of the law enforcement group, had a disdainful smile on his face as he stepped into the tent. Now I'll give you a chance. As long as you tell me where Long Yu is, I'll let you go. Tianzong Haowei stared at Shu Chan and said coldly, I know that all of this was done by Long Yu. In fact, it has nothing to do with you. He just dragged you down with him. Why would you sacrifice your life for someone who deliberately implicated you? Chapter 644. Of course, Shu Chan knew that Tianzong Haowei, the leader of the law enforcement team, was just trying to find out where Long Yu was. If it weren't for the fact that Shu Chan knew Long Yu very well and that Long Yu had just obtained Prince Yunduan's corpse not long ago, she might really have believed Tianzong Haowei's words. Long Yu was a spy sent by the Tianqin dynasty? That was impossible, because there was no benefit to Long Yu. Shu Chan was sure of this. Since that was the case, Tianzong Haowei must be lying to her. As for the goal, of course, it was to find Long Yu and kill him. That way, the truth would be completely buried. Shu Chan's indifference to Tianzong Haowei's words made Tianzong Haowei's face darken. He paced back and forth in the tent and said slowly, If you don't listen to me, do you believe that you won't see the sun tomorrow? I heard that you were originally a princess of a prefecture. Don't you feel wrong that you've fallen to such a state? There's no need for you to bear this injustice. Don't say that I don't know where Long Yu is. Even if I did, I wouldn't tell you. Shu Chan could already tell that Tianzong Haowei was one of the people who framed her. Of course, she didn't have a good expression on her face. She directly rejected Tianzong Haowei. This made Tianzong Haowei's expression even worse. A strong killing intent flashed in his eyes as he looked at Shu Chan. He raised his hand, and the aura of an expert in the Emperor's Path mystery realm began to spread towards Shu Chan, gradually enveloping her. Bearing the terrifying aura of an expert in the Emperor's Path mystery realm, Shu Chan gritted her teeth and didn't say a word. She knew that it was useless for her to say anything now. This person most likely wanted to kill her. But she didn't know where Long Yu was now. Avenge me, Shu Chan thought. However, at this moment, a series of noisy footsteps came from outside the tent, followed by a voice familiar to Shu Chan. Hand over Shu Chan, or our Freedom Corps will take action today. He was the commander of the Freedom Corps, a one-star general. Shu Chan opened her eyes and was a little surprised. She didn't expect that the General Star was willing to fight against the law enforcement group of the Snowdance Corps for her. It should be noted that there were only 4,000 or 5,000 people in the Freedom Corps. It was impossible for them to fight against the Snowdance Corps. However, even so, most of the martial practitioners in the Freedom Corps came to rescue Shu Chan. For the Jianghu martial cultivators in the Freedom Corps, the most unbearable thing was to bully others. Now there was no doubt that the Snowdance Corps was like this. Today, they could find a ridiculous reason to capture Shu Chan without any evidence at all. They could capture Shu Chan, who fought against the Tianjin Holy Wing Corps for the Snowdance Corps. Next time, they would probably capture any one of them. Under such circumstances, the General Star persuaded most of the Jianghu martial cultivators of the Freedom Corps. They broke through to the camp of the law enforcement group and forced the law enforcement group to hand over Shu Chan. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept up the tent where Shu Chan was, leaving Shu Chan and Tianzong Haowei exposed in front of thousands of people. At this moment, Tianzong Haowei's whole body emitted an aura. It was obvious that he was ready to attack Shu Chan. General Snowdance, what do you think General Tianzong is doing now? Could it be that you want to silence Shu Chan? In the crowd, the eyes of a decadent young man, General Star, lit up. He pointed to Tianzong Haowei in the field and said. Next to General Star stood the valiant commander of the Snowdance Corps, Yu Shuowu. At this time, she frowned slightly and looked at the field. Tianzong, leave Shu Chan to me for the time being. Send someone out to find Long Yu. Yu Shuowu also saw that there seemed to be something wrong with Tianzong Haowei. He had always wanted to kill Shu Chan directly, but Yu Shuowu had stopped him. Unexpectedly, he dared to disobey her orders and was ready to attack Shu Chan in private. General, I'm just threatening her. I don't intend to kill her. Tianzong Haowei quickly withdrew his aura, turned around, and said respectfully to Yu Shuowu, however, since the general has given the order, I will obey it. Teams 1, 2, 3, spread out and search for the traces of the spy Long Yu. If you find anything, send out the divine text signal. Tianzong Haowei gave the order, and the members of the law enforcement group, who were waiting around, all accepted the order and were ready to spread out to search for Long Yu. There's no need to look for me. I'm here. Suddenly, a voice came down from the sky. There was a hint of cynicism in the tone, but it was extremely calm. Then a figure appeared in the sky and gradually descended. It was Long Yu. Shu Chan raised her head and looked at the sky. She felt a little surprised by the appearance of Long Yu. What's the use of this guy appearing at this time? Does he have a way to prove that he is not a spy? Shu Chan thought to herself. She squinted at Long Yu, but she saw Long Yu nodding slightly at her, perhaps to indicate that he would be fine. Long Yu. Tianzong Haowei raised his head and saw Long Yu at a glance. The killing intent in his eyes became more intense. It's me. Long Yu said faintly and descended from the sky. The Azura ancient palace was invisible and suspended in the clouds high in the sky, while he himself directly landed in the camp of the Snowdance Corps. At this moment, the traitor Deputy General Su Tiangao was still on his way back to the camp. It was the best time for Long Yu to appear and prove himself with evidence. Catch him. As Tianzong Haowei gave the order, thousands of martial practitioners of the law enforcement group around immediately moved out and flew toward Long Yu in the sky. Long Yu was not afraid at all. He chuckled and said, "The North Snow Dynasty and the Snowdance Corps are just SOSO. The enemy's simple strategy of sowing discord can make you deal with your own people in the blink of an eye. The Snowdance Corps is really stupid. Spy, what right do you have to speak?" Tianzong Haowei sneered and released the momentum of the King's Way secret realm. He was about to kill Long Yu on the spot. Perhaps for some unspeakable purpose, Tianzong Haowei always seemed to want to kill Shu Chan and Long Yu. "Speaking of spies, it doesn't seem to be me, but someone else," Long Yu also sneered, and then looked down at the female General Yu Xuewu, who was surrounded by many stars. "As the general of the Snowdance Corps, doesn't General Yu Xuewu want to know the truth of this matter? Tianzong, step back and listen to what he has to say for the time being." Yu Xuewu's face remained calm when she heard this. She waved her hand and asked Tianzong Haowei to lead the members of the law enforcement group to surround Long Yu, but she did not do anything. Tianzong Haowei had to do as she was told, but his face became gloomier. Long Yu saw that Tianzong Haowei led the crowd to surround him, but he did not care, because he knew that with the commander of the Imperial Snowdance Corps, Tianzong Haowei could not make any trouble. Did this little head of the law enforcement group dare to disobey the order of the general of the entire Snowdance Corps? Then, "General, please look." Long Yu did not hesitate. Since Yu Xuewu had spoken, it was time to show the imprint of true spirit that had been engraved along the way. When Long Yu raised his hand, a picture recorded by the imprint of true spirit gradually appeared in front of everyone. In this picture, the first prince of Tianqin led a sneak attack on the secret camp where Deputy General Luo Yunsang was, and deliberately said in public that Long Yu and Shu Chan had leaked the location of the camp, which made it clear that something was wrong. Yu Xuewu probably understood this simple means of sowing discord at a glance, and then there was a killing intent in the female general's eyes. She guessed that there must be something wrong with this matter, but she did not expect that it was really the malice of the Tianqin dynasty to sow discord. If the spies were not Long Yu and Shu Chan, then there must be someone else. Yu Xuewu thought very clearly, and then continued to watch attentively. She had also heard of the reputation of Long Yu. She knew that since this person had appeared, he must have full confidence. Maybe he had brought some evidence to find out who the real spy in the Snowdance Corps was. Of course, Yu Xuewu did not believe Long Yu at once. It was impossible to forge the imprint of true spirit, but how did Long Yu succeed in the scene of the first prince of Tianqin's sneak attack on the secret camp? If Long Yu was not the spy, then he would have been discovered and killed by the first prince of Tianqin when he was engraving the imprint of true spirit. Of course, Yu Xuewu also knew that Long Yu had many means, so she did not interrupt Long Yu for the time being. Instead, she let the scene engraved in the imprint of true spirit continue to be demonstrated. In the picture, the secret camp guarded by Luo Yunsang was soon completely destroyed, but it could be seen that many people deliberately left people alive, so that these people could bring the news that Long Yu and Shu Chan were spies back to the camp of the Snowdance Corps. Then, the picture changed, and it was transferred to a dense forest valley. A martial practitioner of the Seven Paths of Divinity realm from the Personal Guard Corps led by the first prince of Tianqin left the team stealthily, went to this dense forest valley, and met with a deputy general in the battle armor of the Snowdance Corps. Deputy General Su Tiangao? Yu Xuewu's face changed slightly, and she immediately believed in Long Yu by 70 to 80%. Just when Yu Xuewu wanted to continue watching, Tianzong Haowei, who was surrounding Long Yu, could not hold back. His eyes were filled with killing intent, and the momentum of the secret realm of King's Way burst out. "General, this Long Yu is definitely a spy. You must not listen to what he said. If he is not a spy, how could he get these imprint of true spirit under the nose of the first prince of Tianqin?" Tianzong Haowei said in a cold voice, "Now, this guy even wants to frame our Deputy General Su Tiangao. He is really bold." As soon as he finished speaking, Tianzong Haowei condensed the power of the divine text and directly blasted it toward Long Yu. Dragon Sparrow Flash. Long Yu had been feeling Tianzong Haowei's killing intent. When his killing intent became strong to a certain extent, Long Yu had already prepared a way to dodge. For an opponent who had not comprehended the divine text of space, the Dragon Sparrow Flash was equivalent to an absolute defense. Even Tianzong Haowei, an expert of the secret realm of King's Way, who had comprehended the powerful purification divine text of light, could not touch the corner of Long Yu's clothes at all. Chapter 645. Yu Shuwu didn't expect that Tianzong Haowei would suddenly attack Long Yu. But after the attack, she quickly reacted, and the power of the ice divine characters suddenly broke out. "Tianzong!" Yu Shuwu shouted, and the ice divine characters condensed into a series of ice thorns, piercing the space between Long Yu and Tianzong Haowei, completely separating the space between the two. In this way, Long Yu was protected by Yu Shuwu. After recovering from the state of Dragon Sparrow Flash, he sneered at Tianzong Haowei, separated by a thick wall of ice thorns. When Tianzong Haowei saw that he couldn't kill Long Yu in a second, his face suddenly turned livid. Obviously, for him, this failure to kill Long Yu in a second would bring a lot of trouble. Not only could it not stop Long Yu from exposing the real traitor, but it would also make Yu Shuwu suspicious of him. "Tianzong, why did you attack?" Yu Shuowu's voice was obviously dissatisfied. "General, this person is misleading the public. You must not believe anything he says," Tianzong Haowei said to Yu Shuowu with a very sincere expression. "I'll think about it," Yu Shuowu said coldly, and then raised her head to look at Long Yu. "Continue with the inscription of true spirit." "Okay." Long Yu nodded and continued to release the inscription of true spirit. Then the scene in the inscription of true spirit was that Long Yu killed the 7 experts in the realm of divinity alone, and took the jade slip from Su Tiangao, the deputy general of the Snowdance Corps. When they saw that Long Yu had killed the 7 subordinates of the great prince of Tianqin by himself, everyone in the field gasped, including Shu Chan, who was already very familiar with Long Yu. When Shu Chan saw Long Yu assassinate the 7 divine ability realm expert, she couldn't help but break out in cold sweat for him. Seeing Long Yu suffer the counterattack before his death, her heart trembled even more. Now Long Yu was standing there, perfectly fine. Obviously, he hadn't been injured by the opponent's dying counterattack. This kid actually had such a strong resistance to attacks? Even Shu Chan, who was with Long Yu, was shocked, not to mention the others in the field. The way Yu Shuowu looked at Long Yu suddenly changed. She remembered what Yu Hanxin had said before. Among the group of people from the Tianqin dynasty, there were 3 extremely talented young men, and one of them was Long Yu. Now it seemed that what Yu Hanxin said was true. Yu Hanxin was indeed the Demon King, Yu Shuowu thought. However, there was still one person in the field who insisted on going against Long Yu. That person was the leader of the enforcement group, Tianzong Haowei. Tianzong Haowei saw that Long Yu had killed the 7 divine ability realm experts in the imprint of true spirit. He immediately jumped out and pointed at Long Yu, scolding, "You're just a 2 divine ability realm brat. How could you kill a 7 divine ability realm expert? Even if it was a sneak attack, it's impossible. General, this person is definitely a spy sent by the great prince of Tianqin. You must not believe him," Tianzong Haowei said to Yu Shuowu again. This caused Yu Shuowu to frown slightly. She had just said that she would make her own judgment on this matter. There was no need for others to say anything. Tianzong Haowei had done this several times. Could it be that he was guilty? Yu Xuewu and Tianzong Haowei had known each other for more than 1 or 2 years. She knew his character quite well. Normally, Tianzong Haowei would not be so impulsive and talkative. A strange look flashed in Yu Xuewu's eyes, but she did not reprimand Tianzong Haowei. She was ready to observe in secret. Well, continue. I'll take a look, Yu Xuewu said to Long Yu. This was a general response to Tianzong Haowei's words. Long Yu's imprint of true spirit continued to show the next scene. He obtained the jade slip in the hands of the 7 divine ability realm experts and took it out. This jade slip was now with Long Yu. He took it out and threw it to Yu Xuewu. General Xuewu, I believe that you are an understanding person. Rumor has it that you are also impartial and will not show mercy to your subordinates who have made mistakes. Long Yu said faintly. Then, take a look at the contents of this jade slip. The contents were all written by your Deputy General, Su Tiangao. Yu Xuewu took the jade slip and frowned as soon as she glanced at it. After a while, Yu Xuewu put away the jade slip and glanced at everyone around her. Shu Chan, Long Yu, you two come with me. The others disband. When Yu Xuewu gave this order, most of the people in the field breathed a sigh of relief, including Long Yu, Shu Chan, and the thousands of martial practitioners who were worried about Shu Chan. However, there were some people who knew that the situation was not good. Tianzong Haowei was one of them. However, he did not dare to speak carelessly because he knew that he could not change Yu Xuewu's decision. He glanced at Long Yu and Shu Chan, who left with Yu Xuewu, then turned and hurriedly led the law enforcement team away. Yu Xuewu took Long Yu and Shu Chan to the tent of the main general of the Snowdance Corps. There were only 3 of them in this tent. Of course, Shu Chan had already been released from the crystal cage. At this time, she was free. I'm really sorry that you two have been wronged in the Snowdance Corps. However, in order to make up for your losses, the Snowdance Corps is willing to give you 2 500 divine coins as compensation. What do you think? Yu Xuewu sent everyone else away and went straight to the point. Shu Chan raised the corners of her mouth slightly and said, That's not necessary. All I want is to wipe out the forces of Emperor Tianqin. Long Yu thought for a moment and shook his head, saying, Forget about the 500 divine coins. The Snowdance Corps doesn't owe me anything. However, I hope that the general can bring the culprit to justice. Now I am watching Deputy General Su Tiangao and know his specific location. Oh! Yu Xuewu was quite surprised. She looked at Long Yu carefully and then said with a smile, You are quite capable. It seems that 500 divine coins are nothing to you. Of course, this is the highest level of reward in our Snowdance Corps. Other rewards will not be calculated in divine coins. I owe you a favor for this. If you need any help in the future, I will definitely help you if I can. As for now, let's catch the traitor in the Corps first. Yu Xuewu changed the topic, and her whole temperament changed. She once again became a valiant and heroic female general, and stepped out with the 2 of them. With Long Yu's desolate ancient shadow following the traitor and Deputy General Su Tiangao, it was too easy for Yu Xuewu to catch the traitor. It was impossible for him to escape. However, Yu Xuewu was not satisfied with this. Because Yu Xuewu knew that Tianzong Haowei and Su Tiangao had always been good friends. Judging from Tianzong Haowei's performance just now, it was very likely that Tianzong Haowei was also involved in the whole matter. That was to say, he indirectly caused the secret camp where Deputy General Luo Yunsang was located to be destroyed by Tianqin Great Prince. If Tianzong Haowei was really related to this matter, then it seemed that the head of the law enforcement group of the Snowdance Corps needed to be replaced. Yu Xuewu had always been famous for being impartial. If her subordinates made mistakes, even if they were the backbone of the King's Path secret realm, she would not be soft-hearted in dealing with them. This incident caused the death of Deputy General Luo Yunsang of the King's Path secret realm. Yu Xuewu would definitely make the initiator pay with his life. Deputy General Su Tiangao of the Snowdance Corps was the head of the patrol group, so he had been running on the periphery. He had been missing for a day or two. If his subordinates did not report it, Yu Xuewu would not know at all. At this time, Su Tiangao kept hurrying back. He did not know that Long Yu's residual shadow of the desolate antiquity was using the method of divine concealment to observe him above his head. Halfway there, a black-clothed, masked martial cultivator suddenly appeared in front of Su Tiangao and made a strange gesture. As soon as he saw this gesture, Su Tiangao immediately became vigilant. "What's going on?" The masked martial practitioner in black immediately said a few words, which made Su Tiangao's face change greatly. "I've been discovered? In that case, I can't go back to the Snowdance Corps. I have to go to Tianqin First Prince." Su Tiangao was also a strongman in the Seven Paths of Divinity realm. If he went to Tianqin First Prince, he could get good treatment. Otherwise, if he stayed in the Snowdance Corps, he would definitely be executed and lose his life. However, just as he was about to turn around and escape, a large group of martial practitioners of the Snowdance Corps in the battle armor of the law enforcement group suddenly appeared from around and instantly surrounded Su Tiangao and the masked martial practitioner in black. Yu Xuewu, Long Yu, and Shu Chan also appeared at this time, staring at the two people in the field with sneers. "Tianzong, I trusted you so much in vain, but I didn't expect you to betray the Corps," Yu Xuewu said lightly and looked at the masked martial practitioner in black in the field. There was great shock in the eyes of the masked martial practitioner in black. He had never expected that Yu Xuewu and Long Yu could know where Su Tiangao was and wait for him along the way. And he, Tianzong Haowei, had fallen into the encirclement so stupidly. Even if he was dressed in black and masked, his identity was still clear in Yu Xuewu's eyes. He couldn't hide it at all. If he had known this, he wouldn't have come to inform Su Tiangao in person. There was a flash of killing intent in Tianzong Haowei's eyes. Now there were two choices in front of him. One was to fight desperately to break out of the encirclement and then leave the Snowdance Corps. The other was to directly kill Su Tiangao in front of him and strive for Yu Xuewu's forgiveness. Tianzong Haowei just rolled his eyes and made a choice: to break out of the encirclement. "Brother, let's fight." A fierce light flashed in Tianzong Haowei's eyes. He pulled off the masked cloth on his face and rushed straight to Yu Xuewu in the sky. At the same time, he shouted sternly, "All the brothers of the law enforcement group, if you break out of the encirclement with me and go to Tianqin Dynasty, each brother will be rewarded with 100 divine coins." Chapter 646. Seeing Tianzong Haowei take off his black mask and attack her, Yu Xuewu's eyes were full of disappointment. Although Tianzong Haowei and she were both from the King's Path secret realm, there was still a big gap between their strength. Otherwise, Yu Xuewu wouldn't have been able to be the commander of the Snowdance Corps. "Stupid!" Yu Xuewu snorted. She was completely disappointed in Tianzong Haowei. She raised her hand and the power of the ice divine characters swept out. The sky was filled with ice spikes condensed from the power of the ice divine characters. They rained down on Tianzong Haowei, who had soared into the sky. Tianzong Haowei hurriedly condensed the power of the purification divine characters to form a white barrier in an attempt to block the falling ice spike. "Ice spike divine chain!" Yu Xuewu shouted. The ice spikes formed a divine chain, covering the sky. The terrifying cold air covered the whole area. Even the martial practitioners of the law enforcement group, who wanted to help Tianzong Haowei, were shocked by the chain. They scattered in all directions, not daring to resist at all. Divine chain. Long Yu saw Yu Xuewu's means. Sure enough, most of the experts from the King's Path secret realm had learned how to condense divine chains. At this moment, especially Shu Chan, she carefully observed the ice spike divine chain that Yu Xuewu had condensed. The ice spikes were linked together to form a long chain, which greatly improved the power of the ice divine characters. This was the biggest gap between Long Yu and the experts from the King's Path secret realm. Long Yu might succeed if he were to assassinate an expert in the Seven Realms divinity realm. However, if he were to deal with an expert from the King's Path secret realm, he would never succeed. Instead, he would be easily killed. Ice Spike Dark Destruction. Yu Shuwu let out another low roar, and the ice spikes that filled the sky suddenly exploded. The endless power of the ice divine characters instantly swept across the entire area. Tianzong Haowei condensed the purification divine characters as fast as he could, trying to resist Yu Shuowu's attack. However, he couldn't resist it alone. In just a moment, Heaven-Zong Haowei was completely surrounded by the frigid ice divine runes. The cold energy contained in the frigid ice divine runes invaded his entire body. It was also at this moment that Haowei realized that his good friend, Deputy General Su Tiangao, actually fled outside without hesitation. He didn't care about Haowei at all. Bastard! Tianzong Haowei spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. Then, regardless of everything else, he quickly fled in another direction. Now that he had attacked Yu Shuowu, it was too late to regret. The only way to survive was to run away. He bet that Yu Shuowu would not chase him, but Su Tiangao. "Leave that guy to me," Shu Chan said softly. Her beautiful figure flashed as she chased after the escaping Su Tiangao. The power of the icy divine characters permeated the battlefield. Su Tiangao fled for his life, but he did not expect that Shu Chan would immediately chase after him. A mere 5 divine realm lass. A murderous glint flashed in Su Tiangao's eyes. He saw that Shu Chan had caught up to him, but Yu Shuowu did not chase after him. He heaved a sigh of relief and prepared to deal with Shu Chan first. In his eyes, Shu Chan was only a 5 divine realm cultivator. How could she be his opponent? It was a pity that Deputy General Su Tiangao did not witness the scene of the 7 divine realm Tianqin Crown Prince being assassinated by the 2 divine realm Long Yu. Otherwise, he would not have dared to stay and deal with Shu Chan, Roar of the Fire Dragon. Su Tiangao stopped in his tracks and cast an innate mystique. The fiery divine characters condensed into a fiery dragon and roared at the pursuing Shu Chan. Mystique, Eye of Azura. Shu Chan's first reaction was to condense the Eye of Azura. A terrifying pupil appeared above Su Tiangao's head. When that pupil opened, the power of Azura divine runes enveloped Su Tiangao. Mystique, Shadow Butterfly Transformation. Facing the fiery dragon, Shu Chan cast the 4th mystique that Long Yu had never seen before, Shadow Butterfly Transformation. Under the cover of the Azura divine characters, Shu Chan turned into a shadow of a black butterfly. As if she had dived into the depths of hell, she barely dodged the fiery dragon's roar of the fire dragon. After dark shadow butterfly transformation, Shu Chan's body became like a butterfly. She was extremely small, and when she flew, her speed was extremely fast. She was extremely agile in battle. At this moment, even the innate mystique of the 7 divine realm cultivator, Roar of the Fire Dragon, couldn't hit Shu Chan's body. Instead, Shu Chan transformed into a butterfly and flew away. After dodging the fiery dragon, she reverted to her human form and raised her hand to condense Azura divine characters. Azura, God Chains. Shu Chan's eyes flashed with concentration. Although she had reached the 5th level of synchronization with the darkness attribute divine characters, she had never condensed God Chains before. Now, after a long time, she had comprehended the method to condense Azura God Chains on her own. The Azura divine characters condensed into God Chains and shot towards Deputy General Su Tiangao. The eerie aura of the Azura divine characters spread throughout the battlefield, causing everyone to shudder. How is this possible? Deputy General Su Tiangao had not placed Shu Chan in his eyes at all. He had wanted to kill her in one move, but Shu Chan's Eye of Azura had greatly affected him. He was struggling to break free from the Eye of Azura when he saw Shu Chan condense Azura God chains and wrap around him. This sent a chill down his spine. This lass was only at the 5 Dao Divine realm. How could she condense God chains? Could it be that this lass had reached the 5th level of synchronization with the darkness attribute divine characters? Not only Deputy General Su Tiangao, but even Yu Xuewu, who was preparing to chase after Tianzong Haowei, was surprised by Shu Chan's method of condensing God chains. This was the first time Yu Xuewu had seen with her own eyes how a martial practitioner who had not yet stepped into the Imperial Path arcane realm could condense God chains. Usually, those who could do this were peerless geniuses, just like the demon emperor Yu Hanxin of the North Snow dynasty. She was able to do this back then, and was chosen by one of the 5 emperors, who wanted to take her as a disciple. Amazing! Following Yu Xuewu's praise, Deputy General Su Tiangao was completely wrapped by the Azura God chains before he could break free from the shackles of the Eye of Azura. The terrifying Azura divine characters eroded his entire body. After a few screams, Deputy General Su Tiangao was killed by Shu Chan's Azura God chains and turned into a pool of blood. This scene made Tianzong Haowei, who had escaped far away, change his expression. He wanted to escape even faster, but how could Yu Xuewu give him the chance? The ice divine characters rained down like a rainstorm, blocking Tianzong Haowei's escape route. Then, the two of them fought for a while. Yu Xuewu's God chains formed again and firmly suppressed Tianzong Haowei. Tianzong Haowei was covered in blood, and his black clothes were messy. He was no match for Yu Xuewu. Die! Following Yu Xuewu's announcement, Tianzong Haowei was frozen into an ice sculpture by a cold glacier. Then, the ice sculpture exploded and turned into ashes along with his body. Those martial practitioners of the law enforcement group, who tried to help Tianzong Haowei, stopped when they saw that the situation was not right. They all watched the development of the situation. Seeing that Deputy General Su Tiangao and Tianzong Haowei were both dead, these martial practitioners of the law enforcement group felt a chill in their hearts. They couldn't help but feel a little nervous. They didn't know if Yu Xuewu had seen their intention to help Tianzong Haowei. Of course, there were only a few martial practitioners of the law enforcement group who wanted to help Tianzong Haowei escape. Most martial practitioners were still on Yu Xuewu's side. General, the Tianqin Eldest Prince's personal guard legion is coming. At this moment, a martial practitioner of the law enforcement group rushed over from the south and brought bad news. Retreat. Hearing this, Yu Xuewu didn't hesitate and directly gave the order to retreat. She knew the Tianqin Eldest Prince's personal guard legion. There were hundreds of people in it, and each of them was an expert in the 7 realms of divinity. It was impossible for the few people she led to be a match for the Tianqin Eldest Prince's personal guard legion. After Yu Xuewu's order, everyone in the field quickly evacuated from their original places. Before leaving, they disposed of the bodies of Su Tiangao and Tianzong Haowei, and covered up the traces of the battle nearby. When the Tianqin Eldest Prince led the crowd to chase after them, they wouldn't be able to find anything. In the largest camp of the Snowdance Corps, Yu Xuewu was dealing with the affairs of the Corps. She had to make a detailed report to Yu Hanxin about the death of the head of the law enforcement group, Tianzong Haowei. She also needed to find someone to be the new head of the law enforcement group. There were 2 candidates in her mind, but one was Long Yu, and the other was Shu Chan. Neither of them originally belonged to the Snowdance Corps. She didn't know if they were willing to join. As for the original deputy head of the law enforcement group, he wanted to be promoted to the head. Unfortunately, he only had the cultivation of the 7 realms of divinity. It would be difficult to convince the public to be the head of the law enforcement group. Long Yu and Shu Chan were different. Both of them had killed experts in the 7 realms of divinity. Among them, Long Yu only had the cultivation of the 2 realms of divinity. Once his martial arts realm was improved, he would definitely be more powerful. Shu Chan's cultivation was only at the 5 paths of divinity realm, but she had already comprehended the Azura god chains. Moreover, she had relied on this to directly kill the traitor Deputy General Su Tiangao. This was enough of a deterrent to the many martial cultivators of the disciplinary squad. After writing the whole thing in a jade slip, Yu Shuowu sent the jade slip to Yu Hanxin, and then called Long Yu and Shu Chan. "Do you want to join my Snowdance Corps?" Yu Shuowu said to the two of them with a smile, "As long as you join my Snowdance Corps, you will immediately have official positions. The positions of the head of the law enforcement group and the head of the patrol group are still vacant. These are the positions of thousands of people." "Sorry, I have no intention of joining the Corps." Long Yu directly shook his head and refused. If he joined the Snowdance Corps, he would have a lot of opportunities to fight. But those were group battles, which were not in line with Long Yu's idea of gaining experience. What he needed was an opportunity to act alone. But it was different for Shu Chan. "I choose to join." A firm look flashed in Shu Chan's eyes. Chapter 647. Hearing that Long Yu and Shu Chan had made completely different choices, Yu Shuowu smiled slightly. "I guess that would be the answer. So, Shu Chan, after you join the Snowdance Corps, you will temporarily be the head of the law enforcement team. As for the specific appointment notice, you will have to wait for Lady Yu Hanxin to evaluate you according to your achievement." "Okay." Shu Chan nodded and did not object. She just wanted to kill as many minions of the Tianqin dynasty as she could. She was not interested in what position she would take. In addition, the head of the Freedom Corps, Jiang Yixing, seems to have a special liking for you. If you are the head of the law enforcement team, the Freedom Corps will be more obedient. As Yu Shuowu spoke, she turned her head to look at Long Yu. "As for Long Yu, what are your plans next?" "I am going back to the North Snow Imperial City," Long Yu said truthfully. Then, he glanced at Shu Chan. "Do you want to leave the Azura ancient palace here, or should I take it back?" Shu Chan thought for a moment. "You take it back. We have gained a lot this time. Don't forget my Azura mansion when you go back." "Don't worry about that." Long Yu nodded. For him, the Heavenly Mandate Manor was undoubtedly more important, but the Azura mansion was equally important to him. After all, it was the only ally of the Heavenly Mandate Manor in the North Snow Imperial City. This time, Long Yu had obtained a lot of cultivation resources, from weapons to elixirs to martial arts techniques to divine runes. It was enough to make a qualitative leap in the strength of more than 200 people. Shu Chan also had a lot of credit. Of course, Long Yu would not take it all for himself. He would definitely give a part of it to the martial arts practitioners of the Azura Mansion. The Heavenly Mandate Manor was full of friends and relatives that Long Yu had met on the Heavenly Mandate Island. The Azura Mansion was full of talented young martial arts practitioners who had escaped from the Azura Prefecture. At the moment, there was no doubt that the Azura Manor was much stronger. However, that might not be the case in the future. That was because the many martial arts cultivators in the Heavenly Mandate Manor were not bad. They only lacked cultivation resources. The most important thing was that the Heavenly Mandate Manor had many more people than the Azura Manor. "I wonder if General Huiyuanbai and his men have arrived." Long Yu thought and soon said goodbye to Yu Shuowu and Shu Chan. Next, there was only the battle between the Snowdance Corps and the Tianqin Divine Wing Corps. Moreover, the Tianqin dynasty's plan to frame Long Yu and Shu Chan had been seen through. Perhaps the Tianqin dynasty would soon retreat. One must know that the Ice God clan's exotic beasts in Ruoshui County had been repelled. Yu Hanxin would be able to free herself and come to Sky Mist County very soon. Once Yu Hanxin arrived, the Tianqin Divine Wing Legion would definitely suffer a great defeat, so the Tianqin Crown Prince would definitely retreat in a short period of time. Therefore, Long Yu was too lazy to care about the things here. It was better to hurry back to the North Snow Imperial City. In the Azura ancient palace, not only were tens of thousands of Ice God clan's exotic beasts sealed, but it also stored all the gains of Long Yu and Shu Chan. These gains included the weapons and elixirs seized from the enemies killed along the way, as well as all the things obtained from the Shadow Trace treasure vault. As for the gains in the Azura Abyss and Death Valley, as well as the many resources Long Yu obtained from Prince Yunduan, they all belonged to Long Yu and were stored in the storage space of the Void Spirit Dragon Blade. Just 100,000 Shinbi was a great fortune. However, this fortune could not be revealed casually. Otherwise, he would be implicated in Prince Cloud's death. As long as Long Yu did not give himself away, no matter how many people from the Cloud Empire came, they would not be able to find out that this matter was related to Long Yu. After all, Prince Yunduan was killed by the Ice God clan's exotic beasts. Even if they found the remains of Prince Yunduan, they would not be able to find out that this matter was related to Long Yu and Shu Chan. Regarding this, Long Yu was very relieved. He could finally swagger back to the North Snow Imperial City. Even though Long Yu rode the invisible Azura ancient palace, it still took him 3 days and 3 nights to travel from the Sky Mist County to the North Snow Imperial City. This flying speed was related to his own martial arts realm. If Long Yu could step into the King Path secret territory, he would be able to cover such a long distance in less than a day. Long Yu first went to the Heavenly Mandate Manor outside the North Snow Imperial City. Outside the North Snow Imperial City, there were hundreds of manors of various sizes. One of them was the Heavenly Mandate Manor that Yu Hanshin had arranged for Long Yu. Among these hundreds of manors, almost all the masters of the manor were martial arts masters of the King Path secret realm. Therefore, when Long Yu led the people of the Heavenly Mandate Island to the Heavenly Mandate Manor, it immediately aroused the dissatisfaction of many martial arts cultivators of the North Snow Dynasty. This group of refugees from the Tianqin dynasty, most of them were only in the Heavenly Being secret realm, and some were even in the True Spirit secret realm. Even the strongest was only in the low-level Theurgy secret realm. How could they have the ability to occupy a manor? Because this was arranged by Yu Hanshin, no one dared to say anything for a while. But as time passed, more and more gossip about the Heavenly Mandate Manor was spread in the North Snow Imperial City. Even the people in the Heavenly Mandate Manor would be pointed at by others as soon as they left the vicinity of the manor. When they went out to buy something, they would be deliberately harassed, and even forced to buy it at double the price. At this time, how much money was there in the Heavenly Mandate Manor? There was not a single Shinbi. As for the North Snow coins, they had to sell some useless elixirs and weapons to barely get some. Such hard-earned money was forced to buy things at double the price. It was not hard to imagine how serious a blow it was to the Heavenly Mandate Manor. However, under the leadership of Hong Yu, they managed to survive this difficult period. Although Hong Yu did not have the highest martial arts cultivation in the Heavenly Mandate Manor, she was in charge of the defense matrix in the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Moreover, she was appointed by Long Yu, so she was in charge of the entire Heavenly Mandate Manor. When Long Yu returned, Hong Yu was supervising the planting of herbs in the north corner of the manor. In the Heavenly Mandate Manor, fertile soil was not uncommon, so Hong Yu came up with a way to make money. She planted herbs, then used these herbs to make elixirs, and sold them. Now in the Heavenly Mandate Manor, there were many alchemists, and it was not a problem for them to make some low-level elixirs. However, low-level elixirs could not be sold for much money. Long Yu let the Azura ancient palace float invisibly over the entire Heavenly Mandate Manor, outside the defense matrix. Then, he landed alone in the vast herb garden and saw the beautiful woman, Hong Yu, who was busy directing the people. Hong Yu was originally the great palace lord of the Glaze Moon Palace on the Heavenly Mandate continent. She was also the subordinate that the Azura king had arranged on the Heavenly Mandate Island to observe the situation of the entire floating island. Therefore, she was very good at management. Now in the heavenly mandate manor, there were hundreds of female cultivators from the Glazed Moon Palace who obeyed Hong Yu's orders. This was undoubtedly the largest force in the heavenly mandate manor. Villa Lord, you are back! Hong Yu looked up and saw Long Yu descending from the sky. Her mature and beautiful face could not help but show joy, and she shouted, "Villa Lord?" When Long Yu heard this title, he was quite surprised. Then, he smiled and said, "What do you mean by calling me Villa Lord? If you must be a Villa Lord, you are more suitable to be the Villa Lord. At best, I am just a housekeeper." Hong Yu showed a sweet smile and walked slowly toward Long Yu with the third palace lord, Qi Yun, and the fourth palace lord, Zi Ling. The three of them happened to be supervising the women of the Glazed Moon Palace to plant the herbs together. They did not expect to see Long Yu coming back, and they all looked happy. Since the day the Villa Lord was established, he has not been in the manor for nearly half a year. Long Yu asked, "Villa Lord, you are busy. We all know that if it were not for you, so many of us would have lost our lives. How could we have the nerve to occupy the position of Villa Lord?" Hong Yu covered her mouth and chuckled. "Forget it. Let's not talk about this." Long Yu waved his hand and changed the topic. "How is the manor recently? How is the situation?" "The situation is okay, but the development prospects are not optimistic." Speaking of this, Hong Yu's mature and beautiful face showed a touch of worry. "During the time you were not here, the people of the heavenly mandate manor were looked down upon by others when they went out. Let's not talk about this for now. After all, it does not affect our development. More importantly, the North Snow Imperial Capital Grand Gathering is coming soon. At that time, if the heavenly mandate manor does not have any major development, I am afraid it will be difficult to keep the position of the manor." North Snow Imperial Capital Grand Gathering. Long Yu frowned when he heard this. He had never heard of such a thing. Seeing the doubt in Long Yu's eyes, the quiet and tranquil fourth palace mistress Zi Ling explained, "The Imperial Capital Grand Banquet is a tradition of the North Snow Empire. Every year, after the cold lotus fruit auction ends, the Imperial Capital Grand Banquet will be held. At the very beginning, the main purpose of this grand gathering was to celebrate the results of the auction of the icy lotus fruit. Furthermore, the wealth obtained from the auction would be distributed to the various large forces within the North Snow Royal Capital as rewards. This included over 100 manors and the various large forces within the royal capital. The main content of the Imperial Capital Grand Gathering was the competition between the hundreds of forces. The major forces would send out their younger generation to compete on the same stage. Finally, according to the results of the competition, the cold lotus fruit would be distributed to the three forces with the best performance. But now, the Imperial Capital Grand Gathering has become an event for the hundreds of forces near the North Snow Imperial Capital to compete with each other. The North Snow Emperor has added more rewards on top of the wealth obtained from the auction of the cold lotus fruit. He has also set a rule for the Imperial Capital Grand Gathering. That is, the three forces that rank at the bottom will be banned. Banned? Long Yu was shocked when he heard this. In other words, just like the previous owner of our heavenly mandate manor, they will be stripped of their manor territory and used to reward other martial arts cultivators. Third Palace Lord Qi Yun, who had a fiery temper, said hatefully, "Right now, many people outside are saying that our heavenly mandate manor will definitely rank at the bottom this year. When the time comes, we will have to give this place to others. We have such a large place, but we don't have a cultivator from the secret realm of the Emperor Path. It will indeed attract jealousy." Chapter 648. After returning to the heavenly mandate manor, Long Yu woke up Man Xian, who was still unconscious, and brought him out. Man Xian, who had finally stepped into the secret plane of divinity, now had the inheritance of the stormy demonic blade. He also had the ability to fight against cultivators of 4 or even 5 levels of the divinity plane. Now, in the entire heavenly mandate manner, apart from Long Yu who was in the divine secret realm, only Man Xin was in the divine secret realm. The others were all in the celestial being's secret realm. In the environment of the North Snow Dynasty, they seemed too weak. The many cultivation resources that Long Yu brought back this time were used to train everyone and improve the overall combat ability of the heavenly mandate manner. It was basically impossible for cultivators of the secret plane of divinity to appear in the heavenly mandate manner in a short period of time. However, if the imperial capital event was attended by the younger generation, then the heavenly mandate sacred institute should not be at the bottom. Now, Long Yu could challenge at least 6 cultivators of the divinity plane alone. If it was a sneak attack, he could even kill 7 cultivators of the divinity plane. He was definitely outstanding among the younger generation and could not be at the bottom. Of course, right now, Long Yu did not know the specific rules of the imperial capital event. But no matter what, he just needed to improve the overall strength of the heavenly mandate manner. Since there were still 3 months until the imperial capital event, Long Yu could make good use of this time. Hong Yu, gather everyone to the central hall of the manor. I have something to arrange. Long Yu said to Hong Yu. Hong Yu nodded and turned to inform everyone else. Taking advantage of this time, Long Yu counted the total number of people in the heavenly mandate manor. Compared to the people in the Shura manor, who were all young geniuses participating in the Shura selection, the people in the heavenly mandate manor were much more complicated. First was the people of the Gentian clan. They were led by the clan leader, Bai Yunzong. There were 5 elders: Yu Shengshi, Li Bufan, Yu Shuiyun, Bufang, Yan Huan, and a group of thousands of Gentian clan disciples, including Ling Han, Ling Yue, and Lu Guanming. This group of people had just been released by Long Yu from the ancient dragon bone tower. After all, the Gentian clan could not stay in the ancient dragon bone tower forever. They would eventually have to return to the outside world to develop. Among the people of the Gentian clan, more than 20 of them were in the celestial realm, while the rest were only in the true spirit realm. Although there were many of them, their overall strength was extremely weak. Following them were the hundreds of female disciples of Glaze Moon Palace. All of them were experts above the sky being realm. They were led by the first palace lord Hong Yu, the third palace lord Qi Yun, and the fourth palace lord Zi Ling. The 3 palace lords were all at the peak of the sky being realm and heavenly tribulation realm. Although the Glaze Moon Palace only had 100 people, their overall strength was much stronger than the Gentian clan. The third force was the Feng clan of Great Tang. The Feng clan lord, Feng Chang'e, clansman Feng Yao, Feng Haofeng, Feng Xiaofei, Feng Yusin, as well as Lu Yuan, Shi Yenguo, and the others who had joined the Feng clan. There were also more than 40 disciples of the Feng clan. Although they were few in number, their overall strength was not weaker than the Gentian clan. These 3 forces were the most powerful forces in the heavenly mandate manor. In addition, there were hundreds of disciples of the Ice clan led by Tang Qin, Mo Shanjian, Mo Fengming, and Ling Long Yu from the Mo clan, as well as Chu Xian and Chu Huang from the Chu clan of Great Tang. There were also disciples of Yellow Sand City, Yi Luan and He Qinxue, who had come with Long Yu. Bei Yuyao and Dou Zicheng were also considered part of the heavenly mandate manor. Although everyone had come to a new environment and had a new beginning, and they had integrated into the heavenly mandate manor as a whole, there was still a clear gap between them. Long Yu had asked Hong Yu to gather everyone. He did not want to directly distribute the resources obtained this time to everyone. Instead, he wanted to first disorganize everyone and redistribute them among the major organizations. Previously, Hong Yu was in charge of the heavenly mandate manor, and the others were fighting on their own. It was difficult to manage many things. However, after Long Yu returned this time, he wanted to reorganize the entire heavenly mandate manor. This was not because Long Yu wanted to act arbitrarily and was ready to become a manor lord, but because it was necessary for the development of the members of the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Of course, there was no need for Long Yu to think too much about the specific matters. Hong Yu had already arranged everything for him. When Long Yu returned, Hong Yu handed a jade scroll to Long Yu. This jade scroll recorded how the Heavenly Mandate Manor should be reorganized in the future. Long Yu glanced at it and found that what was recorded in it was to his liking. He made some slight changes and agreed to the reorganization plan in this jade scroll. The reason why they had to wait for Long Yu to return was that Hong Yu's words alone were not enough to control all the people in the Heavenly Mandate Manor. If there was anyone who could make all the members of the Heavenly Mandate Manor obedient, there was no doubt that it was Long Yu. Even Shura Princess Shu Chan would not be able to do anything. Long Yu sat in the central hall and waited, casually looking around. The former owner of this manor really knew how to enjoy himself. Long Yu couldn't help but think as he looked at his surroundings. The central hall of the manor was open air. Around the central hall, there were flowers and trees, surrounding 4 clear lakes. Birds were chirping and flowers were fragrant. The scenery was extremely good. To the north and east of the central hall, there were many residential houses, surrounded by flowers and birds, rockeries and streams. There were also various spirit-gathering matrices. The environment was excellent for both leisure and cultivation. Of course, the effect of these matrices that gathered the spirit chi of heaven and earth was certainly not as good as the one that Azura King built for Shu-chan, but it was better than nothing. To the west of the central hall was a series of small hills. On these hills there were some buildings. These buildings were not used for living. Instead, they were used to create battle weapons for weaponsmiths, as well as to store the materials needed to refine battle weapons. To the south of the central hall, there was, of course, an alchemy room. Both the weapon refinery room and the alchemy room were built very well. All kinds of facilities were in place, and they played a vital role in the future development of the Heavenly Mandate Manor. The basic idea of Hong Yu's reorganization was to divide the people in the Heavenly Mandate Manor according to their talents and abilities. Among them, the weapon refiners and alchemy masters were separated. Other than them, there were ordinary combat personnel. There was also an elite group. No matter what important tasks needed to be carried out, the elite group could be sent to carry out. The weapon refiners and alchemy masters were easy to understand. As long as they had the talent to become a weapon refiner or alchemy master, they would be divided into these 2 groups. From now on, they would specialize in making weapons and elixirs in the Heavenly Mandate Manor. This was the cornerstone of the Heavenly Mandate Manor's development. As for the elite combat group, Hong Yu suggested that the number of people should not be too large, but the key was to have loyalty and strong combat ability. This put Long Yu in a difficult position. Right now, in the Heavenly Mandate Manor, only he and Man Xian were capable of fighting, weren't they? The others had not even reached the secret plane of divinity. Let's first divide everyone into 4 groups. After 3 months we will see how much their martial arts realm has improved, and then we will select the elites to form the elite combat group. Long Yu's idea was also supported by Hong Yu. In a short while, the entire open-air central hall was filled with thousands of people. They stood in front of Long Yu in a rather orderly manner, and there was no noise. This scene surprised Long Yu. He had originally thought that with so many people arranged in a disorderly manner, it would be very chaotic. He did not expect that everyone was so orderly. Everyone, today I, Long Yu, am back, and I have brought back a lot of cultivation resources for everyone. Long Yu narrowed his eyes as he slowly said, however, I don't want to waste these cultivation resources and randomly distribute them to everyone. Therefore, if you want to obtain these cultivation resources, it will depend on everyone's performance. Although everyone in the Heavenly Mandate Manor admired Long Yu, if Long Yu wanted to completely manage these more than 1,000 people, he still had to come up with a way to tempt them. Otherwise, it would be hard to guarantee that some people would not listen and cause trouble. Sure enough, as soon as Long Yu said this, most of the martial arts practitioners in the field began to breathe rapidly, and their eyes lit up. During the time they came to the North Snow Imperial City, the people in the Heavenly Mandate Manor were despised, bullied, and ridiculed wherever they went. They had enough of this. It was not that they did not have the talent for cultivation, it was just that they did not have enough cultivation resources on the Heavenly Mandate Island. However, even if they came to the divine martial world outside the Heavenly Mandate Island, without background and strength, it was tantamount to a fool's dream to want more cultivation resources. Many people could not even find others to form a team with when they went out to hunt exotic beasts. It was really because the martial arts practitioners who came out of the Heavenly Mandate Manor were too despised. In the territory of the North Snow Empire, there were 2 stable and indestructible transmission channels for exotic beasts, located between 2 mountains in the east and west of the North Snow Empire. In these 2 mountains, there would always be endless exotic beasts appearing, but because of the suppression of the transmission channels, there would not be exotic beasts of the Emperor Realm or the Emperor Realm appearing. Many of the martial arts practitioners in the Jianghu in the North Snow Empire liked to go to these 2 mountains to hunt exotic beasts. From there, they could obtain things from the exotic beasts, and there might be valuable things. These 2 mountains were the biggest source of wealth for the martial arts practitioners in the Jianghu in the North Snow Empire. However, for the people in the Heavenly Mandate Manor, going to these 2 places to hunt exotic beasts was tantamount to courting death, because the weakest exotic beasts were in the celestial being's secret realm, which was equivalent to most of them. If they encountered an exotic beast in the secret realm of divinity, none of them would be able to resist it. There were even some members of the Heavenly Mandate Manor who formed teams and went to the 2 mountains to hunt exotic beasts. Unfortunately, until now, there had been no news from them. One could imagine that in order to improve their strength, everyone in the Heavenly Mandate Manor was now racking their brains, but they could not think of a good way. Chapter 649. Long Yu raised his hand, signaling for everyone to be quiet. Everyone quickly stopped talking and looked at Long Yu, wanting to hear what he was going to say next. I will distribute some of these cultivation resources first. As for the rest, we will store them for now. In the future, anyone who contributes to the Heavenly Mandate Manor or achieves a breakthrough in the plane of martial arts will receive more cultivation resources. Long Yu explained the general distribution of cultivation resources, then said, Next, I will set up a few major organizations in the Heavenly Mandate Manor to develop the Heavenly Mandate Manor together and make it stronger. First, the Weapon Refinery Pavilion. All weapon refiners must join the Weapon Refinery Pavilion, and Qi Yun will be the pavilion master. Does anyone have any objections? Long Yu looked at Qi Yun, the 3rd Palace Lord of the Glass Moon Palace, and nodded at her. Then, he looked around. Qi Yun, the 3rd Palace Lord, was a weapon refiner herself, and a Tribulation Realm weapon refiner at that. Her skill in forging weapons was definitely the best among everyone in the Heavenly Mandate Manor. No one would have any objections to her being the pavilion master of the Weapon Refinery Pavilion. What surprised Long Yu was that Lu Guanming, the disciple of Yu Shuiyun of the Jintian clan, had also learned how to forge weapons. This person had the talent to forge weapons, so he joined the Weapon Refinery Pavilion with Wenluan, a middle-aged man from the North Sea nation of Mandate Island, and was responsible for forging weapons for the Heavenly Mandate Manor. There were 22 members in the Weapon Refinery Pavilion, and more than 10 of them were female disciples of the Glass Moon Palace. They would be the main source of weapons for the Heavenly Mandate Manor in the future. A force of 1,000 people could have 22 weapon refiners, which was quite a good ratio. The problem they faced now was that there was no one in the weapon refinery pavilion who could forge weapons well enough. Even Qi Yun, the third palace lord, could only forge earth-grade weapons. Even if she had enough materials, she had no experience in forging heaven-grade or even desolate-grade weapons. Her success rate was extremely low. If General Hui Yuanbai comes, I can recommend you to him as his disciple. General Hui Yuanbai is a 7 Daos Divine Realm alchemist, so a heaven-grade warrior is nothing to him. As long as he has enough materials, he should be able to create a great desolate-grade warrior. Long Yu said to Qi Yun. Thank you for your recommendation, Villa Master Long. Qi Yun's eyes lit up, and she thanked him sincerely. Originally, she felt that her weapon refinement technique had reached a bottleneck. If she relied on herself, she did not know how long it would take for her to break through this bottleneck. However, if he had a strong enough teacher to guide him, then it would undoubtedly be very important for him to improve his weapon forging skills. Perhaps he would be able to start forging heaven-grade combat weapons very soon. Within the territory of the North Snow Empire, an earth-grade combat weapon was the most basic combat weapon. No matter how poor a martial artist was, he or she would at least have an earth-grade combat weapon. It would be a great breakthrough for the Heavenly Mandate Manor if they could make a heaven-level weapon. Next is the Pill Refining Hall. Long Yu continued to assign people. A total of 45 people formed the Pill Refining Hall, which was responsible for making all kinds of elixirs for the Heavenly Mandate Manor, elixirs that could condense the spiritual qi of heaven and earth for cultivation, restore the qi consumed in the body, heal injuries, and so on. Alchemists were the foundation for the development of a force, and they were even more important than weapon refiners. After all, combat weapons were items that could be used by martial artists, and the demand for them was not particularly high. However, elixirs were consumables, and the demand was very high. If there were no alchemists, the Heavenly Mandate Manor would not be able to afford the cost of buying elixirs. Ling, the fourth palace lord of the Glaze Moon Palace, happened to be an alchemist. Ling will be the hall lord of the Pill Refining Hall, and Elder Shi and Fengyu Xian will be the deputy hall lords. The 45 of you are members of the Pill Refining Hall. In addition to cultivation, you should practice your alchemy skills. The elixirs of the Heavenly Mandate Manor will all depend on you in the days to come. Long Yu said to the crowd. Villa Master Long, something is wrong. Someone below suddenly asked, and actually called him Manor Lord. Just now, you only called out a total of 44 alchemists. Where did the 45 come from? Because I am also an alchemist. Long Yu smiled. Of course, he was also an alchemist. If he had time, he was more willing to go to the alchemy room to refine some elixirs. After all, he had many kinds of elixirs on him. In addition, his martial arts realm was the highest in the entire Heavenly Mandate Manor, so it was best for him to study elixirs. After Long Yu said this, the crowd was relieved. Many people secretly marveled. They did not expect Villa Master Long to be an alchemist. Impressive. Hong Yu will be the captain of the manor's law enforcement team, with 100 people under her command. She is responsible for handling all the trivial matters in the manor and supervising everything in the manor. Long Yu continued to make arrangements. Nothing could be accomplished without rules. Since they wanted to develop the Heavenly Mandate Manor as a major force, they had to set some rules. The rules were not complicated. Hong Yu, as the original palace lord of the Glaze Moon Palace, could handle it alone. With Hong Yu's strongest martial arts realm, no one dared to resist the law enforcement in the Heavenly Mandate Manor. In addition to Hong Yu, Long Yu also assigned Feng Xiaofei and Feng Haofeng to the law enforcement team. He made them deputy captains of the law enforcement team and assisted Hong Yu in handling affairs. The 100 members of the law enforcement team were personally selected by Hong Yu. Long Yu did not ask. Next, let's start to arrange the 4 major martial armies of the Heavenly Mandate Manor. After Long Yu made the arrangements, he prepared to arrange the combat personnel. For a force, weapon refiners and alchemists were the cornerstones of development, and combat personnel were the guarantee for the continued existence of a force. Without combat personnel, it would be useless no matter how many weapon refiners and alchemists there were. Only with enough combat strength could the whole force become stronger. The purpose of the existence of weapon refiners and alchemists was to make all combat personnel stronger. The combat personnel of the Heavenly Mandate Manor are mainly divided into 4 major martial armies: the Azure Dragon Army, the White Tiger Army, the Xuanwu Army, and the Vermilion Bird Army. In addition, there are the personal guards of the manor. As Long Yu spoke, he glanced at the audience. Next, I will arrange the commanders and deputy commanders of the 5 major martial armies. More than 1,000 people in the entire Heavenly Mandate Manor listened attentively. They knew that what Long Yu said next would determine what kind of life these people would have and whose orders they would follow. Long Yu had already thought about the arrangements for the 4 major martial armies. Now, he just needed to announce it step by step. There was nothing much to say about the personal guards of the manor. They were mainly used to maintain peace and order. However, the personal guards were directly commanded by Long Yu. They were mainly used to arrange the remaining female disciples of the Liuli Moon Palace. Long Yu thought for a moment and told them about the personal guards. For now, there are only 60 members of the personal guards. They will follow me. Long Yu, I want to join the personal guards. Suddenly, a crisp female voice sounded from below. It was Lu Yuan, a young girl in a tight black skirt. She was staring at Long Yu with a complicated expression. Her voice silenced the entire place. Many people glanced at Lu Yuan. Now many people in the Heavenly Mandate Manor knew that Lu Yuan was interested in Long Yu. It was a pity that Long Yu didn't seem to appreciate it. Now that Lu Yuan offered to join the personal guards, everyone wanted to see how Long Yu would respond. Okay. To everyone's surprise, Long Yu didn't object. Instead, he nodded his head in agreement. This made Lu Yuan happy. For her, she didn't need anything with Long Yu. It was enough to be closer to Long Yu. Next, arrange for the Vermilion Bird Army. Long Yu didn't give too much time for others to think. He continued to arrange the personnel. The Vermilion Bird Army was made up of female cultivators. Hong Yu was temporarily the commander because no one else could control the situation like Hong Yu. In the Vermilion Bird Army, there was Elder Yen Huanma from the Zhentian clan, Disciple Ling Yue from the Zhentian clan, Disciple He Qinxue from Yellow Sand Sky City, Sect Leader Tang Qin of the Ice Sect, and mother and daughter Chu Huang and Chu Xian from the Chu family of the Tang Empire. In addition, there was Feng Yao from the Feng family, Ling Longyu from the Mo family, and the granddaughter of Shi Hasong, Shi Yengu. Ling Longyu was originally a disciple of the Glass Moon Palace. She was sent to the Tang Empire to join the Mo family when she was young. She was responsible for monitoring the Hell Demon Seed in Lu Yuan's father, Lu Qing. Lu Yuan's father, Lu Qing, was still being tortured by the Hell Demon Seed. But 3 months ago, the Hell Demon Seed suddenly disappeared, and he returned to normal. No one in the Heavenly Mandate Manor knew why. Now that Long Yu thought about it, it was probably because he controlled the Azura Sacred Tree and killed the Duke of Ghost Evil, which led to this situation. There were more than 300 people in the Vermilion Bird Army. Hong Yu was temporarily the commander, and the position of deputy commander was yet to be decided. It all depended on who could improve faster in the next 3 months. Next was the Azure Dragon Army. Long Yu's idea was to make the Azure Dragon Army the trump card of the Heavenly Mandate Manor, so he directly made Man Xian the commander of the Azure Dragon Army, leading more than 300 people. Man Xian was the son of a general of the ancient Meng Kingdom. He was very good at leading troops, and he had also entered the secret plane of divinity. His real strength could fight against 4 or even 5 divinity realm cultivators. No one dared to object to making Man Xian the commander of the Azure Dragon Army. In the Azure Dragon Army, Long Yu did not arrange for anyone else, not even a deputy commander. He only let Man Xian lead more than 300 disciples of the Zhentian clan in the secret plane of true spirit alone. Long Yu believed that with enough cultivation resources, Man Xian would definitely improve the strength of the entire Azure Dragon army quickly. Man Xian was not dissatisfied with this. His only request was for Chihua to be the deputy commander when he returned. Now that Chihua was out training, no one knew where he went. Regarding Man Xian's request, Long Yu had no reason to refuse. Chapter 650. Then came the White Tiger Army and the Xuanwu Army. Among them, most of the White Tiger Army were originally members of the Zhentian clan. Bai Yunzong was the commander, and Feng Changge was the deputy commander. Together, they led the White Tiger Army, which had a total of more than 300 people. The Xuanwu Army was made up of many people. The commander was Yi Luan, and the deputy commander was Feng Changge. Most of the Xuanwu Army were disciples of the Feng family and the Ice sect. Including Mo Shanjian and Mo Fengming, there were more than 300 people in the Xuanwu Army. Disciples of the Zhentian clan were selected to make up for the shortage. Azure Dragon, Xuanwu, Vermilion Bird, and White Tiger were the names that Long Yu came up with. The reason was that he was too lazy to think of the names of the armies. After all, it was just a code. After the arrangements were made, some people were satisfied and some were not. But overall, it was much better than before. At least there was a unified arrangement. Next, the commanders and deputy commanders of the major organizations and armies will stay. The rest of you can go. Long Yu waved his hand and let everyone go. Next, it was time to distribute the cultivation resources. Clearly, Long Yu would not personally distribute the cultivation resources to everyone. Since the division of the Martial Cultivator Corps had been established, he would let the respective corps commanders of the Martial Cultivator Corps distribute the cultivation resources. In the end, there were 13 people left in the Central Hall. They were Pavilion Master Qi Yun and Deputy Pavilion Master Lu Guanming of the Weapon Refinery Pavilion, Lord Zi Ling of the Alchemy Hall, Deputy Elder Shi and Fengyu Exin, Captain Hong Yu of the Law Enforcement Team, Deputy Feng Xiaofei and Feng Haofeng. Hong Yu was also the commander of the Vermilion Bird Army. There was no one else in the Vermilion Bird Army except Hong Yu. It would be no problem for Hong Yu to make arrangements. Commander Yi Luan of the Xuanwu Army, Deputy Feng Changge of the Xuanwu Army, Commander Bai Yunzong of the White Tiger Army, and Deputy Commander Feng Changge of the White Tiger Army. Commander Man Xian of the Azure Dragon Army. As for Deputy Commander Chihua, he had gone out to train and had not returned yet. From now on, you will be the mainstay of the Heavenly Mandate Manor. But I have something to say first. Everything today is only temporary. What happens in the future depends on your hard work. Long Yu said sternly to the 13 of them. Now, everyone's task is to work hard to raise the martial Dao realm of your subordinates, including those from the Alchemy Hall and the Weapon Forging Pavilion. For the time being, your main goal is to raise your martial Dao realm. Alchemy and weapon forging, there is no need to rush. 3 months later, according to the degree of improvement in your martial arts realm, you will be assigned a new position. Everyone must keep this in mind. Long Yu only said these words to motivate the crowd. He believed that once they had enough cultivation resources, the martial arts plane of the people in the Heavenly Mandate Manor would definitely increase very quickly. In fact, it wouldn't be strange for there to be more experts in the secret realm of divinity to appear. Next, these are the cultivation resources for you, mainly including elixirs and weapons. Long Yu then took out some elixirs and weapons of the heaven and earth grade from the Azura Ancient Palace. He said, these elixirs and weapons were previously stored in the Ice Heaven Valley of the Azura County. Now they are distributed to everyone. It should be enough for now. Long Yu and Shu Chan had obtained many weapons and elixirs of the heaven and earth grade from the weapon pavilion and the elixir pavilion in the Ice Heaven Valley. Long Yu divided them into two parts. One part was used to arm the Heavenly Mandate Manor, and the other was reserved for Shu Chan's Azura Mansion. However, the things obtained in the Ice Heaven Valley were relatively low-end and might not be useful to the young geniuses in the Azura Mansion. Therefore, Long Yu made the decision to distribute most of the things obtained in the Ice Heaven Valley to the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Anyway, Long Yu had a lot of things with him. When they arrived at the Azura Mansion, there would be more suitable things for them. Now, Long Yu took out not only the cultivation resources obtained from the Ice Heaven Valley, but also the gains he had obtained from killing those martial arts practitioners in Jianghu along the way. The great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon, the black gold scythe that originally belonged to the Duke of Ghost Evil. Long Yu took out the scythe and glanced at everyone present. He found that everyone was stunned. Obviously, they did not expect that Long Yu would take out this powerful great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon. Hong Yu, this combat weapon is for you. Long Yu threw the black gold scythe to Hong Yu. The black gold scythe was a powerful combat weapon used by the Ghost Evil King. It was a great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon, worth 1,000 divine coins. This was a huge wealth that could tempt Su Tiangao, the Deputy General of the Snowdance Corps, to become a traitor. The black gold scythe was useless to Long Yu. Of course, he would give it away. Now that Hong Yu was a very important figure in the Heavenly Mandate Manor, he certainly could not have a convenient combat weapon. If I take such a good combat weapon, it will be useless for the upcoming Imperial Capital event. Hong Yu's eyes flashed with a complicated look. She looked at Long Yu and said, "After all, I am over 30 years old and cannot participate in the Imperial Capital event to help the Heavenly Mandate Manor. Long Yu, are you sure that you want to give it to me?" It was absolutely a lie to say that she did not want a great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon. But for this, Hong Yu still felt that she needed to explain, lest Long Yu would regret it. "It doesn't matter. You take it. I have a lot of combat weapons, and I will have more in the future. Everyone will have one. It's just a matter of time." Long Yu waved his hand and did not care at all. He directly gave the black gold scythe to Hong Yu. "And this ice-long sword, also a great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon. Bai Yunzong, take it." Long Yu took out another ice-long sword, also a great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon. He threw it to Bai Yunzong, the commander of the White Tiger Army, who was the former clan lord of the Jintian clan. Bai Yunzong never dreamed that he would have such a day. When he was in the Heavenly Mandate Continent, even in the Tang Empire, he was regarded as a frustrated martial arts practitioner. But because he met Long Yu, he had the cultivation conditions he had today. Not only did he not die in the disaster of the Heavenly Mandate Island, but he was rescued by Long Yu and brought to the Divine Battle World. Now, not only did he get better cultivation conditions, but he could also get a great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon. You are indeed the son of Long Zitian. Long Yu, I believe that if Brother Long knew that you have such achievements today, he would not be disappointed. Bai Yunzong took the ice-long sword without any nonsense, and could not help but sigh with emotion. Hearing this, Long Yu's eyes flashed with determination. He had not completely given up hope for his father, Long Zitian. Since the Heaven Prison Thunder Pool had directly exploded, then he could participate in the Conference of Divine Martial Emperors and find the Emperor Realm expert in the Heaven Prison Thunder Pool. According to Yu Hanxin, there should be an Emperor Realm expert who had comprehended the divine text of thunder absorbing the power of thunder and lightning in the Heaven Prison Thunder Pool. When he participated in the Conference of Divine Martial Emperors, he should have some clues, or at least he could ask about the whereabouts of Long Zitian, The great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon Long Yu took out was obtained from Bai Qing. Of course, Long Yu had already destroyed the soul imprint in it. After receiving the ice long sword, Bai Yunzong's eyes brightened. He had taken the heaven-level elixir given by Long Yu, which cured the internal injuries that had been plaguing his body. Now was the time for his martial arts realm to improve by leaps and bounds. If he obtained a great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon, it would have a great impact on his strength. Long Yu had a lot of combat weapons, far more than these. In particular, the things he got from Prince Clouds were enough to equip the entire Heavenly Mandate Manor. However, he didn't dare to use these things casually because he was afraid of giving himself away and being seen by the people of the Cloud Empire. That would be troublesome. Brother Yi, this flame whip is for you. Although it is only a great desolate level low-grade combat weapon, it is still a great desolate level combat weapon. It should be useful to you. Long Yu took out a great desolate level low-grade flame whip and handed it to Yi Luan, the commander of the Black Tortoise Army. Yi Luan nodded and looked at Long Yu with determination in his eyes. Obviously, in this new cultivation environment, Yi Luan also wanted to become an expert. Whether it was in the Heavenly Mandate continent or the Divine Martial world, he, Yi Luan, would never be willing to be under someone else. For the other people present, Long Yu gave each of them a heaven-level combat weapon. Those who did not get a great desolate-level combat weapon were not dissatisfied, because they knew that as long as they followed Long Yu, a great desolate-level combat weapon would not be a big deal. Didn't you see that even someone as powerful as the Ghost Evil County's king was killed by Long Yu and his black gold scythe was taken away? You can also distribute these elixirs to your subordinates, so that they have enough elixirs to break through the bottleneck and break through the martial arts realm. Long Yu took out all the elixirs he got from the Ice Heaven Valley, the Dark Shadow Trace Treasure Vault, and the cultivators he killed along the way. But as usual, he did not take out the precious elixirs from Prince Cloud. These things, on one hand, Long Yu wanted to keep them for himself, on the other hand, he was afraid that if they were to be randomly distributed, the people from the Cloud Empire would find them. Next is the most important thing, everyone, listen carefully. After distributing the combat weapons and elixirs, Long Yu's expression became extremely serious. Compared to these combat weapons and elixirs, he had something even more precious, and that was the divine rune engravings. In the divine martial world, the value of the divine rune engravings was extremely high. A complete divine rune engravings was worth as much as a great desolate level medium-grade combat weapon. Even in the Shura province, there weren't many people who could comprehend a complete divine rune engravings. The Shura king's bloodline had only used up less than 30 Shura divine runes. The power of divine runes was divided into 3 levels: comprehension through copying, engraving, and comprehension through the divine rune source. In the divine martial world, there weren't many martial cultivators who could comprehend the divine rune source. Most of them comprehended it through copying, or from incomplete divine runes. This was also the main reason why Long Yu was able to skip so many realms of martial arts and assassinate 7 transcendent realm cultivators. The power of divine runes that both sides comprehended was not on the same level, and the 108 death divine runes on Long Yu's body, as well as over 70 Azura divine runes, all of them were complete divine runes. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.